Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy that the mic mutes itself when like the intro is playing because I was like bump 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 bump. And it was the worst. It was the most awkward thing ever. How's it going, everyone? Episode 78 of the Sports Desk. I'm Splash. Jack is over yonder on the right side. I have a TV in the background. If you correctly guess what state I am currently in, I will send you 5,000 uSTADIUM points.
I might know the answer, so I'm not going to take a guess.
Actually, I hope you don't. You should know the answer.
Yeah.
Let me do it, man. If you guess what state Splash is, Splash is in, he will send you 5,000 points. There you go. If you correctly guess what state I'm in, I will send you 5,000 points. What a time to be alive, Jack. How are you doing?
I'm under the weather a little bit still, so we're just kind of hanging in there right now. This is gonna be the flu game, if you will. We're just gonna try and tough it out here. I might sound a little congested, but I think we'll tough it out and we'll be all right.
It happens. Hey, Joey Chestnut just won his 15th championship on a broken leg. You can do anything, and we have a third special guest. It would be a third guest. Or it
would be a third host, we'll say.
Yeah, okay.
Guest,
we have a special guest today from our baseball department. We have Josh. He's a uSTADIUM video veteran. I think he was definitely on the 24-hour live stream. He's been on a couple of our shows. Welcome back, Josh.
Thank you for having me. I'm just going to say that the Joey Chestnut broken leg thing's not real. It doesn't harm you in competitive eating.
Yeah, that's true.
Look, sure, but look, the mental fortitude that he has to have like his leg be in pain. Actually, I don't know how much pain it was in. It's probably really bad.
Does it depend? Like, can you?
I don't know.
Are you allowed to sit? Are you allowed to sit?
I don't think
you're supposed to sit. I think it helps you digest it quicker.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like,
I guess. But it's like I would imagine he would be in some kind of pain because like you have to like balance on one foot for a while
jump up
and then like
down and ruin your broken leg. Oh my goodness.
I think it definitely hinders you a little bit, but the mental fortitude is definitely.
He's also so much better than everyone else. Like,
yeah.
A broken hand, and then I'll be impressed.
Okay, so you know how baseball has like ERA plus, OPS plus that compares it to the league average? What would Joey Chestnut's like hot dog plus be? Like 500, 1,000?
See, I'm thinking in the way of like golf handicap.
Oh, okay.
I think his handicap is like 15, 20 hot dogs better than everyone else.
Wow.
Jeez.
So if everyone else started with 15 hot dogs and he had to come back, he would win most races or most.
I think so.
Races.
What is it like a time? I never fully understood how this.
It's
thing
10
works.
minutes to eat as many hot dogs as you can. He eats, 12 hot dogs in the first minute. He doesn't keep that pace up for the entire 10 minutes.
Dude's an animal, man. That's just.
Yeah. He's like 75 hot dogs in 10 minutes. He can do that. Like, bro, that is.
Yeah.
I meant to like watch the other day. Like there was like somebody posted a clip of his on like ESPN or something talking about how he prepares for this kind of thing. I need to know his secret.
I think it's a lot of water and a lot of cabbage.
Yeah, you don't eat a lot before too, I'm guessing. That probably fills you up for a long time.
That screws with your colon so hard too, I feel like.
Or oh my goodness. The Badlands drinking a gallon of lemonade. I like lemonade. I like it a lot. I don't think I could just chug a gallon like that.
I can't chug a gallon of anything.
Oh my goodness. So before we get into our first take segment, we have a special giveaway. If you guess what state I am currently in right now, I see a boat out the window. If you correctly guess what state I'm in, I will send you 5,000 points on the uSTADIUM app. Make sure you download it if you haven't already. And if you have downloaded it, great. Thank you. Engage in takes. We're going to be doing some special giveaways moving forward. Sunday Night Baseball. Yankees Red Sox this weekend.
Yeah, big game this week.
Well, that looks hype.
Big stuff coming there. So giveaway on the app. Guess what state I'm in for points. And yeah, let's fire up the old take machine, the hot take-o-meter. Jack, do you have the graphic?
I don't have the hot take-o-meter.
Rip.
But, oh well. This isn't the first time he's done
You have the
another hot
third
take.
for it at least.
I could probably. I have the upper one for it. We have that, although that kind of blocks my face. So
Okay, we're fine.
let me look. I could probably bring it up somewhere.
Okay, so
But in the meantime, you guys
on this
can.
episode of takes, there are some fun takes available, and one take I did a special giveaway last night that every take made between like 11:30 and 1 a.m. was tripled because I'm lazy and tripling is cool. Anyways, one take was made. The Texans fan said the Texans will not have the worst record in football this season.
We have it. First of all,
Hey,
there we go.
Boom, there we go. There we go. Will the Texans have the worst record in football? Jack.
No. Wait, the Texans?
Yes.
Actually, yeah, I think they will.
Josh.
I'm gonna say I think Deshaun's gonna be out for the year. I think the Browns will have the worst team record in football.
Whoa. Okay, I was not expecting to hear that. Okay, I don't think. I don't love the Browns roster without Watson, but it's a good roster without Watson. I'm a little cold on Brissett. I think he seriously tanked whatever Miami was trying to do. If Tua plays every all 17 games, they win 12 games. Brissett was just that catastrophic against the Raiders, like the when he threw a screen in the end zone for the safety. I've never seen that happen before.
That was weird. That was really weird when that happened.
I think the Seahawks will be worse too. Honestly, I don't think the Texans might not be the bottom 3 team.
I don't know if the Seahawks are going to bottom out like that. I think the Seahawks, I don't want to say are super talented, but they have kind of like the FU mentality of like Rashad Penny's going to run the football. They just drafted Kenneth Walker in the second round. I don't know what the heck is going on with Chris Carson, but I think they are a team that's going to exceed expectations a little bit and squeeze out another couple wins. A team that I think could be an absolute train wreck this year is Chicago. If you're bringing in new everything, again, new head coach, new coordinators, new GM, and Justin Fields is there. So Justin Fields showed some flashes last season, which are great, but I don't know if he's surrounded by the best supporting cast. Like Tevin Jenkins, their number 2 pick last year, they moved up for Fields, they moved up for Jenkins, they screwed up the rest of their draft, like in terms of having enough picks. They made solid picks, but they took a chunk out of their future to get Fields and Jenkins. Jenkins wasn't good last season. Now he's the second string right tackle. Like, I don't know what you're doing there, what you're trying to do there. And I feel like it's a recipe to get Justin Fields killed this year. So I don't know. Also, shout out to Austin in the chat. Yo, the Rams will not be the worst team in football. I'm pretty confident in saying that.
I'm pretty. If the Rams are the worst team in football this year, we have the Super Bowl ring at least. So
would that be the biggest downfall for a team?
That would be a huge downfall. But it's has there been a pretty bad like
first to worst?
I can't think of a first to worst off the top of my head.
It's tough. You're gonna have some pieces coming back.
Yeah, the Ravens missed the playoffs after winning the Super Bowl. The Patriots missed the playoffs after going 16-0. Granted, that was a Brady thing. They still won 11 games. The Steelers missed the playoffs after 2008, after they won the Super Bowl. Did the Colts miss the playoffs in 2007? I don't remember them playing in a playoff game in 2007. Oh, wait. Wait. That was the Jags year. But I think the Colts were the wild card. They were a wild card. They can't have possibly missed the playoffs with Peyton at quarterback. So it was Pats 1. Who was 2? Was Indy the 2? Because it ended up being a Pats Chargers. Was that the year? Did the Chargers beat the Colts in the playoffs that year?
I can't remember.
That's before my time.
Oh my goodness. So the 4-5 was Jacksonville, Pittsburgh. I forget who was hosting who, but I was rooting so hard for Jacksonville to beat New England that it just obviously wasn't going to happen. Did the Chargers beat the Colts? Were the Titans any good that year? That was before the Texans had made the playoffs. Steelers weren't. The Steelers did make the playoffs. That was the year the Browns were really good. They won 10 games, missed the playoffs. Kansas City, Denver, Vegas was awful, or according to the time. Okay, I got to look this up. 2007 NFL playoffs. Because, that was and the Giants, of course, won the Super Bowl.
I think we're going on a bit of a tangent
Yeah.
here. But the point is,
the Colts did make. Okay, the Colts were the 2 seed. Okay,
the point is,
the Titans made the playoffs too. What lamos?
We were talking whether or not the Rams are going to miss. It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, the Rams are not going to miss the playoffs.
They have so many pieces coming back. So
I think the closest team that had a downfall would be the Jags.
Yeah,
that's fair.
It's switched game to they were like 4-12.
Hey, the Marlins won the World Series and then went like 18 years without making the play, or 17 years without making the playoffs again.
The Lakers won the ship in 2020, and then it's been kind of all downhill from there. So
to be fair, they did make the play in 2021.
They did.
Yeah, I mean that's not exactly the same, but they did make the play too.
But it's still it was. But they won the title, and then after they followed that up with a first round exit, and then they missed the playoffs with one of the best trios in the league on paper. I
don't think any trio. Russell Westbrook can be one of the best in the league.
I did say on paper, to be fair. But
okay. I mean, my thing about Russell Westbrook is this is totally off topic. But everyone says it's the most untradeable contract, and somehow it gets traded every offseason.
Yeah, that's funny, and it's also the crux of like value, because like you'd think if a player's traded over and over, they have some value, but like it almost is like depreciating his value. That it feels like every year he's getting traded. Like he was a stalwart for the Thunder for 10 years. Then all of a sudden he's on the Rockets. All of a sudden he's on the Wizards. All of a sudden he's on the Lakers. Now he's about to be traded to the Nets. Like
nope, he's not gonna be traded to the Nets.
Okay, yeah. Resident Nets fan Josh here thinks we live in a land of unicorns and candy canes, and that Kevin Durant will come back and Kyrie Irving will come back. Russell Westbrook will be sent to space. The Cavs will undo the Jared Allen trade, so the Nets can have a competent big man.
I hope you guys hold on to Kyrie, but we'll talk about that later in the show.
I'm so confident. Right now, I'm going to put a take on the app.
Okay.
Katie,
all right.
Katie, if I can get Katie correct, and Kyrie will be on the opening night roster.
Kyrie probably, because no one wants to trade for Kyrie. Besides the Lakers, but if you're 28 other teams, like you see what Kyrie has done, you see he's a champion. He's hit one of the biggest shots in the history of sports. You know, he's been a big time performer when it matters. So you have that experience, but at the same time, what have you done for me lately? Not a whole lot of playing basketball. He's played under half of the games since. Like I don't know the exact stat, but I want to say it's like he's played like 50% of games since he got traded from Cleveland, 60% of games, because he like missed most of the season this year because of the whole COVID stuff. And then like there's other years that he like misses, 30 games here, 25 games here. So like, is Kyrie Irving a trustable asset in the modern NBA? I don't know the answer to that question. I'm leaning no though.
You see, my thing is like everyone says this year is never going to happen again, or for at least 100 years. So I'm not too worried about that. I just think my thing is I think it's a whole one at a certain point. If you're a KD, you're going to get traded to a team and that roster is going to be decimated. So are you better off staying with? I think you're better off staying with the Nets, and they'll do something similar to what Aaron Rodgers said or did, and say we'll run it back one more year, and if you want out, you want out. Because everyone last year said Aaron Rodgers is done in Green Bay after this year.
Okay, in fairness, the Last Dance was true because Devontae Adams didn't come back.
So
Kyrie will. I think part of this is leverage to get Kyrie a max contract.
Okay.
But are the Lakers going to really give that to him?
I think the Nets are going to give it to him eventually.
Would you? Okay, as a Nets fan, would you pay Kyrie the max?
Yes. Well, it's not my money, so I guess it's different for me. I would give him the max.
Yes, I would pay all of the players the max because I'm a nice person.
See, but this is my thing with Kyrie. When he's on the floor, he is a top 15 player in the NBA. And if you don't give Kyrie a max, you lose KD, who is a top 3 consensus player in the league. So for me, if you get rid of them, there's a whole thing going on in this area where they have raised the season ticket prices by 100%.
Yeah, that was a bad look.
And it is not a great look. And no season ticket holder, you're going to make your fans happy. You're alienating your fans.
Mm-hmm. So the Nets have fans?
Yes, believe it or not, we have a lot of fans. Sorry,
Sorry,
not even a general manager. You're alienating your general manager,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if you've. This is insane, but the owner's son now is tweeting out at KD and calling him out.
Oh,
Is he really now?
Alienating your players.
oh boy.
So I would just this whole thing where Joe Tsai's like, I'd rather win 40 games and be a gritty team, and then you let Bruce Brown walk, who's your grittiest player. It's like at least be consistent about it. And I just think at a certain point, it's like if you get rid of KD and Kyrie, you're losing too much money. I think he's too smart of a businessman to say, okay, let's do that.
Are you sure that Royce O'Neal isn't moving the needle enough?
Oh no, I think Royce O'Neal's a great ad, but you can't say
yeah, for sure.
you can't say we're getting. Also, you don't trade picks for players if you're rebuilding. That's just not a thing. But you don't say we're going to sign our gritty players, and then you let your grittiest player, who is your third best player most of the season, walk for less money than Patty Mills.
Fair. I love how we get the Nets tangent. Good stuff. You guys are tuning into episode 70 of the Sports Desk. Baskey with the dub. He commented Michigan. I am in the very northernmost part of Michigan, it's called Mackinac Island. I'm not actually on the island. I'm very close to the island in Mackinac City. Yes, Landon, I'm hosting from Michigan. I'll send you some points as well. What a time to be alive. I think I've hosted the show from Georgia a bunch, Virginia a bunch, Arizona a bunch. I don't think we did one, like the Wednesday didn't overlap in Indianapolis or Vegas. But I think I've been in, this will be my fourth state. Cool. Yes, W Splash. Thank you, Landon. Hope everyone is having a phenomenal day. And now, of course, all the Michigan comments are coming on the app.
Close the giveaway there, yeah.
Yeah. I do have to close the giveaway. So there you go. I'll send some points out. We appreciate it. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate the views. If you want to drop a super chat, we are more than down to look at those. Shout you out. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments. We will answer them. If you have hot takes, either throw them on the app in the hot take or in the takes section, or just comment them here and we will discuss. So moving on, pick a sport, either one of you, and let's go into some more takes.
Have there been any football ones that are regarding recent events that have taken place?
Okay, we have Jay Dizzle 408. He says Trey Lance will finish top 4 in total yards for second-year quarterbacks. Lance, Fields, Jones, Mac Jones, Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Davis Mills.
So what? There's 6 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like that's not very hot. I feel like that's kind of bell pepper. Like the only thing that could throw a wrench in this is if he just doesn't start.
But I don't think he's going to start.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised. I think then it's like you're a little concerned why you draft.
Like he probably at some point will get like play time. I don't think he's not going to play. Period. But I feel like the Niners are trending in the direction of Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be our guy, and not the smartest choice, but that's kind of where I feel like they're heading right now.
Ooh, okay.
I think it's he's still rehabbing, and you can't trade him. It's also like, what team would you trade him to now with the Panthers getting Baker?
Mm-hmm. The Browns. I've seen that.
The
trade.
Seahawks.
That trade actually irritates me. When they say, yeah, they're going to trade Jimmy to the Browns. Why would the Browns do that? They have Brissett. I don't like Brissett. I think Garoppolo is a pretty solid improvement, but at least Brissett has been in the system for a couple months now.
He'll be serviceable until.
Okay, so Landon says Drake London is going to be top 5 in rookie touchdown receptions. I don't know how hot that is. Because
I mean, yes, I would hope so, considering he's
the number 1 receiver taken.
I disagree with the take just because his quarterback play will be bad. I think that's obviously a big part of it.
I don't think Mariota is that bad. I don't think he's good, but I don't think he's that cataclysmically bad.
I think Treylon Burks will be 1.
Okay. Ooh, okay. Okay, fun option, Sky Moore, Christian Watson.
I think Garrett Wilson will be up there.
Jameson Williams could be fun.
See, what the issue with him is he's going to miss some games.
True. But he's also playing in a really talented receiver class or receiver group. Garrett Wilson, sure. I don't love Jahan Dotson at 16 to the Commanders. I really don't.
See, I think he can be good, especially because Terry's going to get a lot of that attention.
Okay. See, I
It's
like
more-
De'Ami Brown this year.
It's the same thing
I
as
don't know if
like Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm in the minority here. I like De'Ami Brown this year. I think he can do some things with the Commanders that I think you kind of he was a third round pick last year. He has some rapport with Sam Howell. So if Sam Howell plays this year, I don't know how much he would if he does at all, but I think that could be, something in the right direction.
It could help.
So we also have Baskey. Panthers will start 3 different quarterbacks this season.
I don't disagree necessarily. I mean,
can you just punt? Can you just punt Sam Darnold to like outer space? Because what is the point of Sam Darnold now? Like, what?
I missed the days that everyone
He exists.
What's the
for Sam
point?
Darnold.
He's there.
Is he
I
like
mean,
the 2K generic player? Like, what is the point? And I know there's some people on the app that are like, well, no, Baker's either not better than Sam Darnold, which is incorrect, or not that much better than Darnold. Have you watched Sam Darnold throw the football? You clearly haven't.
I think we also
watched
forget.
Baker Mayfield throw the football.
I think we forget Baker was injured this year. I mean, everyone's injured, but when you tear your rotator cuff, it is very hard to throw a football. So for me, I think more about his last healthy season where they made the playoffs and won a game. Were in that game against the Chiefs till basically the last play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and like you had both Chiefs games. You had the playoff game, and then you had the Week 1 game that he balled out in those games. And I know he had the stupid interception at the end of the regular season one. That it's honestly not that bad of an interception when you consider that he's getting his legs swiped from underneath him. Like, how can you put anything on the throw when your entire platform is getting hit by another grown human? I don't know. My excuse is he's getting hit as he throws there. Not the worst throw. He's trying to get it out of bounds. He didn't get enough on it because he's getting hit on the throw. So, and then after that, he's injured the rest of the season. He still is grinding out some games. He had some good performances. He actually balled out against Cincinnati the first time they played. He didn't play in the second one. So I don't know. I think there's a lot to like with Baker. 5th year option, and I don't hate Carolina as a sneaky playoff team as the 7th seed in the NFC.
Yeah. Should we just transition this into the normal segment and just talk the Baker trade?
I think we should.
Yeah.
So, how many wins do you think Baker Mayfield adds over Sam Darnold, if any? Jack, you go. That was the wrong direction.
He got the direction wrong. The streak is over, folks.
Darn.
How many wins do I? What was the question? It was how many wins do I think?
How many wins of an improvement do you think Darnold to Baker is?
What was their record last year?
Was it 6-11? They were bad, but they weren't that.
Yeah, I feel like they should
either
be
6-11 or 5-12.
I feel like it would be safe to say that they should get 10 wins this year.
Whoa, 10?
10 wins.
Where are you getting the 10 from?
I think because of CMC. I feel like if we get a fully healthy CMC, I feel like you put him with Baker, that could be pretty dangerous.
Are we sure McCaffrey can count to 17? He did go to Stanford, so can he play in 17 games? Do you think he can play in 15? I think that's a better question. I think
that's actually a pretty good question, honestly.
It's
the
Denzel
tough.
Ward thing that when he's on the field, he's elite, but he misses a month every season. Or Teron oh my goodness, it frustrates me.
I think it's doable. I think 10's doable, but they just have to have everybody stay healthy.
See, I'm looking at the schedule now, and I'm looking at as what games does Baker win that Sam Darnold
doesn't. Let me look at that. Speaking of schedule, oh boy, spicy week 1 game.
Look at week 1.
See, I kind of wish it was a little more into the season though, because it's more fun.
Let me go game by game. Browns.
Browns is the game they're not winning with Darnold; they're winning with Baker.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, I agree.
Granted, Deshaun, I'm gonna assume he's out.
Giants, that one should be a win.
Let me get the NFL playoff predictor.
Yeah, and they lost to the Giants last year. So that's another game they win this year.
Saints, they might lose. Cardinals, that one's a 50-50, honestly.
How did they lose to the Giants? Jack, I'm pulling up the playoff predictor. Uno momento.
Yeah, last year I think it was a 9-6 game. I'm pretty sure it was very low scoring.
Oh, they got whacked. I think it was 25-6. It was a goofy score too.
That might be what it was. Yeah, it might have been 9-6 halftime.
Where is Carolina? All right, share screen.
I'll look at their schedule. That'll get you more of a finalized answer. But
I think they can
I
make,
feel like
especially with 3 teams. The NFC isn't especially deep. I think they could easily make the playoffs.
Like you have
yeah.
New Orleans with a new coach. Dennis Allen's coached for 10 years. The Bucs with a new coach. That's not a guarantee. The Falcons have one of the worst rosters in football. I don't know. There we go. All right, week 1. Browns at Panthers. Who we got?
Honestly, it just depends on the whole Deshaun thing, and assuming he's out.
Okay, we're gonna
If he's
assume
not-
no Watson.
Assuming no Watson, the Panthers should win.
If Deshaun's not suspended week 1, I will walk into our pond at school that's filled with geese. It is disgusting. I am not confident he'll be suspended week 1.
Okay, so I know you go to UMass. So weird question. Do you know that the tight end, he was a transfer from Penn State to UMass, and he was going to go.
Yeah,
he was
his
gonna
name,
go,
but I see him on TikTok often.
Adam Brez.
Adam
something like
Brenneman.
that.
Adam,
Okay,
I think it's
you definitely
Brennan.
need to reach out to him and have him on the show because I like.
I will.
I like
That's my boss too.
All right. Oh wait, do you remember Rob Blanchflower?
Nah.
No, my heart is okay. So he was on the last year of NCAA, like the video game. Rob Blanchflower was the tight end, and he was like the #1 tight end on I forget, Sports Gaming Universe. So he did a series with UMass and had updated rosters, and it had Rob Blanchflower, and he like led the conference in touchdowns. So there you go. You got my UMass history. All right, Carolina at the New York Giants. Good point. Carolina, New York Giants. Who we got?
Carolina.
Yeah, Sam.
Okay, 2-0 start. Very 2021-y.
Yeah.
Saints
I feel
at
like
Panthers.
If the Panthers are home, I'm taking the Panthers. I think they'll split.
Okay.
sure.
Another 3-0 start. Okay, now it gets wild.
I think they lose this
never
one.
beat the
It's
Panthers.
I think they're about to go.
But the Cardinals are
3-3
always
now.
the best team, like through the first 8 weeks.
But they also don't have DeAndre Hopkins.
I'm looking at 3-3, honestly, though. I feel like they lose this one in some kind of wild, convoluted way. Like
Okay.
they give up a safety or something weird like that. These matchups always tend to be weird.
Yeah, you had the scoregami in the NFC title game. You had the worst playoff game ever with John Skelton and Cam.
Speaking
was
of
bad.
Cam, you had Cam coming back, and then
Yeah. Then that game
that
was
was
no
weird.
Kyler. That was a Colt McCoy game.
oh, true.
So Arizona or Carolina, folks.
I think Arizona.
Give me Arizona.
Okay.
In fact, give me
Niners-
their opponents for the next 3.
I like
Okay.
the
San
Panthers.
Francisco, I think, beats them.
I like the Panthers.
Whoa. Okay.
You like them
so
over San
tied-
Francisco?
We're tied here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't co-sign with that, but sure thing.
This next one should be.
I would imagine you're both
Yeah,
taking the reigning Super Bowl champions. Okay, Bucks at Panthers.
World champion Los Angeles Rams.
I'll take the Bucks.
Give me the Bucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Panthers could beat the Falcons.
I think, yeah.
Do you trust
I
them?
don't think they're going to beat the
Falcons?
Bengals.
Yeah, I can agree.
I trust Baker to beat the Falcons
Okay.
at the very least.
I mean, this is when they're going to re-sign Cam, though. This is about the time.
Good point. Good point. Now, do they beat the Falcons twice in 2 weeks?
Yes.
One's a Thursday night game.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. I swear to every deity known to man.
No,
you
they're
would be
beating the
kicked
Ravens.
off
Or
the
they're
game.
not beating the Ravens, I should say. I almost
Jack?
tripped over my own words there. They are not beating the Ravens.
I think the Ravens are off a bye because they have like a Thursday night game home against Tampa, Monday night at the Superdome against New Orleans, then a bye week, then they have Carolina. Although Carolina does get the extra week of rest or extra 3 days of rest. All right, Denver at Carolina, Super Bowl 50 rematch.
Denver.
Denver.
Do you guys remember the 2016 game between those teams? Like the first game back, like no Peyton.
Yeah.
It was the Thursday night game to open the season. That was one of the best games ever, and I think Gano missed a field goal at the end. All right, bye week 13, we got them triumphing over the bye week Brewfords. Panthers at Seahawks. Panthers off a bye.
I like the Panthers.
Okay. Steelers, Panthers.
Yeah,
I like the Panthers again.
I like the Panthers in that one too.
Wow.
I also,
All right,
I also
Battle
kind of
Cat,
like them over
Lions,
Detroit.
Panthers.
I like them over Detroit.
All right, at Bucks.
Do we have them winning it? Not over the Bucks. I don't think they beat the Bucks.
No, they're not beating the Bucks, and then they lose the Saints because
Okay.
I think it'll be a split.
All right.
So what is that
Oh, boy.
overall? Now that we've actually looked at their
You guys
schedule,
made them go 8-8-1.
8-8-1.
So you were split
Just
on the Niners
short of
Cardinals
10.
game. 1-8 versus. Well, I guess that's not 1-8 versus winning teams isn't exactly fair because every team's either a winning team or losing team based on these games. But I don't know. I feel like you're a little ambitious, but then again, they are better than they were 6 hours ago, which is an important distinction. And they got better at an important position. This isn't even like a they improved at punter, which I believe they did, or they improved at long snapper. Like, okay, those are important, but it's not as quintessential to winning football games as improving your quarterback. So, are we all in agreement that Baker is an upgrade?
Oh, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
100%.
Glad
I
we
watched 3 years of Donald. Anyone's an upgrade.
can... Good point. All right. There is the Panthers segment, the Browns Panthers segment. Baker Mayfield was traded for a conditional 5th round pick. If he plays 70%
This
of
is
snaps,
actually
it'll pop up to a
Go
4th,
ahead.
I believe. Yeah.
this has
If
actually
it-
been like quite a debate on like the app and whatnot, like whether that trade is worth it. Like just the conditional pick next year.
I
It's tough.
think if you're the Browns at a certain point, you have to just move on.
Mhm.
Yeah,
not-
I can agree with that.
And it's like you don't gain anything if you're not planning. I mean, obviously they clearly had no plan on using him no matter the Deshaun thing. Get rid of him, and there's no market for him. So it's like I think you take what you can get at a certain point, and at least you got some of the money off the books. But at a certain point, it becomes more of a distraction than it's worth.
I agree. And I think with
Mhm.
Baker, like if you didn't burn that bridge, yeah, you're probably better off than starting Jacoby Brissett. But you did burn that bridge, and you said, "LOL, Baker Mayfield." You go watch the rant. The last 2 out of our last 3 shows, I've had a huge Baker Mayfield rant. I'm not going to do a third one today, but it's just I don't know. I feel like you burn that bridge. Now you have to trade him for much reduced value. So they got a conditional 5th out of him when you probably could have gotten a 2nd or a 3rd if you traded him at any other point other than like after you've burned everything. And now you're getting into July, so Baker has to like learn the offense on the fly, get adjusted to his receivers on the fly, the DJ Moores of the world, the Robbie Andersons of the world. I'm sure Robbie's thrilled. Shai Smiths of the world, the disaster that is their tight end room. Although they did draft Tommy Tremble last year, he's a fun guy, better offensive line, but you have to
What a
work
name,
in.
too.
So the Panthers, I almost feel like they should have made this trade earlier.
Yeah, I don't know what's taking this trade so long, but to me, it also says to me the Browns are kind of punting on this season, and they're kind of saying hopefully Deshaun's only out for a year and we'll start over next year because they don't have a 1st round pick. I mean, the Texans right now are licking their chops. They might have a top 5 pick, especially in a quarterback class I think it's a pretty strong quarterback class. CJ Stroud, I think him. I'm not a big Bryce Young guy. I think he's kind of too light, but there's Will Levis is a good quarterback.
Phil
There's some good
Yurkovich.
quarterbacks in the country. And if the Texans are bad, they can get someone like Will Anderson and get a quarterback.
Okay, how do you feel about Boston College's Phil Yurkovich?
I hate Boston College, so
Naturally. Was it Ethan that made a graphic for us? It was like the potential top 5 picks, and it was Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Anderson. Was it Jackson Smith and Jigba? Because I think he deserves to be in that conversation.
yeah, I think it's
And then Phil Yurkovich. And then it's like all of them have primary red colors. And I'm like, yo, this doesn't look right. And he's like, I can't do anything else with this. Like, darn.
I think Will Levis will be a top 5 pick.
Ooh, okay.
I think he'll be a sneaky
Okay.
1st round pick.
I liked him
He's
a
just-
lot last year.
He has the small moments where he isn't great,
Mm-hmm.
but he's also one of those players. Kentucky seems to do it all the time. They did it with Josh Allen. They make players who weren't highly recruited or couldn't start their college and turn them into great players. And I think Will Levis will be there.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think Kentucky is developing a strong pipeline of NFL players. This year Luke Fortner was a good player. Josh Paschal, I think, is an underrated defensive rookie of the year bet because I think he's going to get to the NFL and be really good immediately, as opposed to say a Trayvon Walker who might take a while. So yeah, underrated. Kentucky is an underrated program developing talent. And of course, Lynn Bowden, one of my favorite players ever.
Wandale Robinson too.
Yeah, 50th overall pick, right? Second rounder to the Giants. A little early, but I thought he was a very good player, but maybe a touch early. Former Nebraska Cornhusker too. On the subject of takes, we have 2 takes I want to throw out right now. I made a take that Ronald Acuna would hit a leadoff home run today. If you get it right, you get triple the points. And I made a take that the Braves will score 10 plus runs today. Again, if you get it right, triple the points. 2 more takes. If a Braves infielder hits a home run today, triple the points. If a Braves outfielder hits a home run today, triple the points. So join some MLB takes on the uSTADIUM app. Drop a like on the stream. Drop a comment. If you have any questions for us, we'd be more than happy to answer. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you want, drop a super chat or a super sticker. YouTube makes it pretty easy for you to do that, so your comment can glow in a variety of colors. And I don't know the colors well enough. I know if you pay $500, it'll be red and it'll be up for 5 hours. Not 5 recommending hours, you do that, but
we wouldn't say no, but
yeah,
don't go broke. Don't make yourself broke. You don't need to.
I'd rather get $1 than. Well, I mean, I'd rather get $500 than $1, but I'd almost feel bad if it was $500.
Yeah, I would feel bad.
Yeah. So baseball. Any exciting games for you, Josh? Any particular one that when you get off the stream, you're gonna MLB TV? Gotta watch this one.
I'll always be watching the Yankees game, but I think earlier looking at it was Twins White Sox. Mm-hmm. That was an exciting game. Last time I checked, it was 8-8. You have some good games tonight. Red Sox Rays, obviously. Mm-hmm. You have those 2 teams fighting for the second spot in the AL East, which is right now the top wild card spot. Obviously, Cardinals Braves is a good game. I think there's not a great. There's so many early games tonight, so it's not a great night slate. But Red Sox game will definitely be worth watching, and I think the Yankees game will be worth watching.
For sure, Jack. Any that pique your interest?
I believe the Dodgers are playing the Rockies, or not the Rockies. Who are they playing?
They're playing the Rockies, yeah.
Oh, they are? Okay. Yeah. They're actually beating them, too, which is good, so.
Yeah. I remember when the Braves beat the Rockies were like, oh, they're the worst team in the baseball. The Braves should beat them 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
Which, how many teams go to Colorado and sweep them in a 4-game series? Hint, not many.
Playing at altitude, man, it hits different.
Yeah. And beating a team 4 times in a row in 4 straight days is really hard. If you get a crappy start, if you get an Ian Anderson start, you're done. You're 3-1. Ian Anderson, I think, genuinely reduces my lifespan by 8 years. It's how people say if you eat a certain food or you drink too much or whatever, that reduces your lifespan. Watching Ian Anderson pitch is my version of cocaine, because the bad side effects to cocaine, because it's so frustrating. And then the other 4 days of the week, it's Max Fried, he's gonna be really good today. Oh, Charlie Morton, he's gonna strike out 10. He's gonna be good today. Kyle Wright, he's been awesome this year. He's gonna be, then Spencer Strider, oh man. And then freaking Ian Anderson with his over-the-top delivery, and he walks a bunch of. He allowed 8 hits yesterday. Bases were loaded in 2 different innings. Ugh. And then he's Christy Mathewson in the playoffs.
Other games I have on my radar, I think Yankees Red Sox is obviously up there. That sounds fun.
That's gonna be fun this weekend.
4 games set.
Nice. Do you like how it's? Like how it's broadcast as the rivalry?
I do think it's one of the oldest rivalries. I mean, when I think of the rivalry, I think of UNC Duke.
Okay.
Because I think that just nothing tops that. I think, but Yankees Red Sox is definitely up there. Teams, no matter who's there, there's always been bad blood. There'll probably be bad blood this weekend in 4 games in Boston. The fans are definitely going to show out. We saw, I don't know if you saw the other day, but they had Jeter documentary sign right outside Fenway.
Wow.
Yeah, ESPN thought that'd be a good idea. But I think they'll definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if there's benches clearing brawl.
Okay. Is it you that made the take that there would be a bench clearing brawl in the Houston and New York series?
I think that was Jason.
Okay, because that didn't happen, but we did get fireworks in the Angels Mariners game, which involved actually fireworks, aka Razel Iglesias throwing seeds everywhere.
And I think Yankees Red Sox is gonna be fun too, because now you have that Devers versus Judge thing that could hopefully will be, or maybe Devers will leave, so hopefully not, will be the next 5-10 years, because both of them are free agents, both are looking for massive contracts, and both are going to be the face of their teams for the next, wherever they land for the next 10 years.
Yeah, and it's a big MVP discussion now. I write for a company, Overtime Heroics, and one of my coworkers, James, wrote an article saying that Rafi Devers was the MVP of the American League right now. And I'm like, the Yankees fans probably want to hit James over the head with the baseball bat, not out of the ordinary, but MVP candidates scoring off. I think Judge probably has, like, you can start like engraving the A, maybe the second A in the MVP right now.
He's on a bit of a slump, but it's also like at a certain point, like you say, I was talking to one of my friends today, and I was like, the Yankees have a 13-game lead on the Red Sox. Like, oh, the Red Sox must suck this year. It's like, no, they have 45 wins. They're the third best team in the AL. And like Judge has been the best player on that team. At a certain point, it's like, how can you not give him? I know baseball would give it to best player with the best stats, so Mike Trout gets it. But at a certain point, it's like, this team's so much better than everyone else. How do you not give it to him?
Yeah, I think it's a unique circumstance that Judge has been so influential. Like, sometimes the walk-off wins or the moments, like Derek Carr had a bunch of game-winning drives the one year. Matthew Stafford, the 1 year with the Lions, had like 8 game-winning drives. Well, some of that, no, they shouldn't be the MVP because they have a bunch of game-winning drives. But then you have a guy like Judge that is, keeping the Yankees in the game for the first 8 innings, and then he's delivering when it matters. I think that gets a little bit more credence than, I don't know, Josh Allen had the 1 year that he had 5 game-winning drives, and in 4 of the 5 he threw a pick or lost a fumble in the first 3 quarters. So he put the team in the hole. But when Judge has like a home run in the 3rd and a home run in the 9th, okay, I think that should count. And I think he has a ton of those moments for the best team in baseball. The team that is on pace to win 115 games, something like that. They are like hitting the milestones the 98 Yankees team did, the 01 Mariners did. They're like a top 8 pace in the history of baseball through 80 games, and that just is mind-boggling.
Yeah, I think that's always been the knock on him too, though. You look at him, it's always been he's not that clutch hitter. But we talked about on Spaces, when you have a opposing manager say he won 2 games this series, like that's ultimate respect. That's, to me, he's the MVP. But I don't want them to get the best record ever, because none of the teams that have the best record in their sport have won the championship.
Yes, this is true. The 1906 Cubs lost in the World Series. The 01 Mariners lost in the ALCS.
The
my
Warriors
beloved Red Wings,
and they lost.
Warriors, yeah, go Cavs.
The Patriots lost.
Patriots.
I could be Dolphins count.
The record?
Do the Dolphins count or?
Ooh,
they're like a tie.
Yeah.
Okay, I know Jack knows because we talked about this the last time we were talking to each other. Josh, did you know that the Dolphins had to play a road playoff game that year?
I did not. I did know their kicker threw a pick 6 in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Basically, the NFL was doing like a really, really stupid system where they have to I think you just sent Splash into another dimension right now. I think like the NFL had a playoff structure where it was like predetermined, like it was a rotation as to who would host playoff games or something weird like that. And it was just
it's like it could be my year to host a playoff game, but if I'm like the playoffs,
yeah, like that just it sounds stupid when you even think about it. So it's like
so it was That was the year the AFC Central would host the conference championship game.
Okay.
Miami has to go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Like the 15-0 Dolphins have to travel to a not as good Pittsburgh team. That's not fun. And at that point, it was pretty rare for the road team to win these playoff games, to win late, because like the Packers did not lose a game in the playoffs at Lambeau Field until Michael Vick came into town in 2003. Like, teams just didn't lose home playoff games. And some of that was because they're the better team and they get to host. But then other years, it's like you're playing in Cincinnati Riverfront Stadium. The Chargers had zero chance in that game in 1981. Or the Ice Bowl. Like Dallas, it was a close game, obviously, but you expect the Packers to win that game 9 out of 10 times. And then you have perhaps the greatest NFL team ever has to go on the road for not even the Super Bowl, for a division or for a conference championship round playoff game. They ended up winning. They ended up covering the spread. They were 3-point favorites. But that's like, imagine if like the 07 Patriots went to go 16-0 and they have to go to Jacksonville or to San Diego for the AFC title game. Like, what are you doing? I don't know why that was implemented, but it was implemented. Strange rules. What's your favorite strange rule, Josh?
I like the balk in baseball.
Man. Baseball, 90% of like strange rules have something to do with baseball.
Yeah, and it's like, it's interesting. Like, if you start your windup at all and stop, they get a free base. And I think you see teams coming, like using it as a strategy. You've seen teams with, they can be up by 2 runs and there's a guy on second and they'll purposely balk because they don't want the guy to read the pitches.
Yeah.
I think that you've also seen teams use it to their advantage, which makes it even, I think, more of a strange rule because you don't see teams purposely, or I guess some teams do, but you don't see in the middle of the field, you don't see teams purposely pass interference someone.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. And I mean, I think it's like there was an old rule. It was, I think, in the 1976 NBA Finals, Celtics Suns either game 2 or game 5 was like a triple overtime game. Anyways, in one of the overtimes, I believe the Celtics were down 1, but at the time, if you called a timeout and you didn't have any timeouts remaining, it was just a free throw for the other team. You would get the timeout. There was no like possession on the ball. So you could call the timeout, the other team would get a technical free throw, and you would still get the ball. So the Celtics are like, timeout, and they're like, technical foul. But then the Suns guy makes the free throw, but the Celtics get the ball and they tied the game and they go on to the next overtime. And it's like the optimal
I can see why that rule got replaced.
Exactly. Now it's like the Chris Webber rule, I don't think it's called the Chris Webber rule, but the Chris Webber situation is if you call the timeout and you don't have a timeout, you lose the possession of the ball, which makes sense. That seems a little scammy that you could do that. Jack, what's your favorite rule? What's your favorite stupid rule?
My favorite stupid rule is kicking out of bounds in the NFL. I feel like that's a little bit of a harsh one, is why I think it's so stupid. I think bring it up to like, I would say the 35. I feel like the 40 is a little too much.
Interesting. One rule that that used to be enforced it's called the silver goal. So I think maybe both of you are familiar with golden goal.
Yeah.
Okay. So silver goal applied to soccer in the same way, but if you scored in like the first half of extra time, it doesn't automatically end. Golden goal, it automatically ends. But silver goal, you could play out the rest of that half. So
I think I know what you're talking about. So like if it's like a 30-minute extra time split into 2 15-minute halves, you score in the first half. And then if the first half ends that way, then the game is just over.
Right. But if it's golden goal, you win immediately. Like Senegal at the 2002 World Cup did that. And that people don't like the golden goal. But silver goal, you score in the 94th minute. Then you have to play 10 more minutes. Right?
I'm not sure why people don't like golden goal. I think golden goal should be more.
I like golden goal.
It's just kind of stressful that you could have just one attack and then game's over.
Well, so that's how it works in hockey. Everybody's complaining about hockey over time. So
it's also like at a certain point, like if they've played 100 minutes, at a certain point, the game just it needs to end. Going to under 30 minutes.
yeah, they have to have like some kind of like cap on it and just call it a draw or something like that.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Nick Senzel, ding dong off the Mets. Oh man. We could be 3 hours away from the Braves being 2.5 hours or 1.5 games back from the Mets.
There's a lot of like weird rules in like baseball though. Like I remember, I think like there's a rule like if the ball goes in the ivy at Wrigley Field or something like that.
Ground rules double.
Yeah. Josh, I don't know if you read what I said in the in the thing the other day, but have you ever seen a situation that the catcher has accidentally thrown his mask on top of the baseball? And like
I've not seen that ever before.
Okay, so I was there at the Tigers game on the 4th, and there's a play that it's like a drop third strike. So Haas throws his mask and he's like looking around, and John Lipka, the umpire, is like doing the out thing, or like you're awarded first base, like if you can run the drop third strike stuff. And it almost looked like he was helping him try to find the baseball. But then on replay, it was like he's obviously not looking anywhere near Haas. He's looking at the base runner. Anyways, so I'm like, what if the ball is just sitting there and you accidentally throw your mask on top and it doesn't touch, but you just can't find it? Is that like a penalty or something? Because I know if you use the mask to pick up the ball, or you use your hat to pick up the ball, that's a base error. This is what happened. 2018, Christian Vasquez did this. I think in a playoff game it happened, and it was a 2-base error at the time. So the guy scored from second because the catcher used his mask to pick up the ball. Do you think that would be like the weirdest thing ever that happened?
Yeah, I don't know what the teams would argue either. It would be a interesting thing. Like it reminds me of a couple weeks ago when I went to Yankees Rays, and they had I think it was Higashioka. It was home run that night. And he was just walking around to try to waste some time for I forget who the reliever was to get him to warm up. And Boone came out to take him out, and it took 40 minutes for it to be resolved. And everyone just sitting there like, what's going on? And it's like at a certain point too, it's like you just make a decision because we're just sitting here, and no matter what you make, it's right away what you're going to choose. Sitting there for 4 minutes isn't going to decide. So I think it'd be like that. Like it would take like 40 minutes, and they would just decide eventually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, baseball is such a strange. It's fun, but it's also like there's so many goofy rules, like you mentioned earlier.
I always say on here too, like they have goofy rules for literally every possible situation.
I think also baseball, it's like I think it has the biggest home field advantage.
True. Ooh, because every field is shaped differently.
Baseball's the only sport where each stadium is different sizes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true, but I think like statistically basketball ends up having NFL is a bit weird because the seasons are so short, so you get like exaggerated records, but over like a normalized set of games, basketball ends up having the largest like home court advantage, and hockey ends up having the least because in some regards, because it's like a bit, I don't want to say fluky, but smaller score margins, that helps. So you can't, for example, luck your way to winning an NBA game. You can luck your way to scoring 1 goal in hockey.
Yeah.
And for hockey, it de-emphasizes home ice, but for basketball, it emphasizes home court. NFL, again, it's weird because it's such a short season. So you're going to have like a 5-3 record you're not going to win 63% of your home games in a different sport, but it's every team are reasonable to say a team's going to go 5-3 at home in the NFL. Then baseball, it's true that you have the different dimensions for every ballpark, but how much of that do you think influences like individual games?
I think it would be more of a season aspect. Like I think if it's not for the short porch, I don't know if the Yankees trade for Rizzo last year.
Okay.
So like they know that short porch. We have to get some lefties on team. I don't think Joey Gallo's even playing anymore. It's not for the short porch. So I think that's the biggest example of it, though. I don't think there's stuff that's that extreme. On top of my head, just being Yankees fans, the short porch. And you see, and we've had so many people complain about it. Whenever someone talks about the Yankees too, the first thing is you guys have the short porch. I'm sure the Red Sox do some stuff with
The monster.
the monster and right field. The pesky pole is it's I think the shortest home run you can hit in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more you build your team around. Like if you're in Colorado, you don't want pitchers who are giving up fly balls.
I don't know why. I know this has nothing to do with that, but you're kind of reminding me of like in MLB The Show, the cheapest possible home run is at like Polo Grounds when you just hit it off to the side, like right next to the foul pole. Like that's just the cheapest home run in the game.
Good old Polo Grounds. Although I think Colorado is a little bit different because it's such a large outfield too.
Yeah.
So that like sometimes like weak fly balls are great. But like say a park like Cincinnati or Philadelphia, that everything's so compact, and like if you just get it up in the air, like Atlanta, they had a couple home runs down the right field line yesterday. That you just get it up in the air, you get the humid Atlanta air, it's out of here. Like you can't live on like cheap fly balls because cheap fly balls turn into 3-run homers. But Colorado, like cheap fly balls can get you outs. Oddly enough. Like Wrigley, you can live on cheap fly balls, like because when the wind blows in, you can't hit home runs. You cannot.
It can also go the other way. I guess Wrigley the wind can also go in, but you definitely want a pitcher who's going to put ground balls, not pop flies, because the wind's just so unpredictable there.
Right. Oh, I hate playing at Wrigley. It's like the Braves have like all these power hitters and all these guys that over a full season should probably hit 25 plus home runs, and they hit 2. All series, and it was like one opposite field for Harris, and then Duvall yanked one down the left field line. Okay, because there were like 8 fly balls that died on the warning track the first 2 games. That was tragic.
It's a beautiful ballpark, but beautiful.
Yes, this is true. I've only been to Guaranteed Rate though, in Chicago. So one day Wrigley, I will be there.
Okay. I don't even know what the next topic is.
Robert Griffin III, ESPN broadcaster, he wants to return to playing in the NFL. I have my own opinions because he's actually suited up for my sports team multiple times. Jack, Josh, what do you think about RG3 potentially coming back?
How old is he? Is my first question.
He was drafted in 2012. I believe he was 34. I will look that up. I believe he's 34.
I think the Browns should take a flyer on him.
All right. Here's my reasoning.
Pull up the hot take meter again. Oh, he's 32. He's 32.
Okay.
I don't want to see him play again. I think he's a great analyst, and I just don't want to see him get injured. But if he was,
I would
Browns.
Yeah, true. That's fair. I would like to just remind the lovely audience watching or listening today that Terrell Owens in his 40s came back to play arena football in the fan-controlled football league. If he can do that, I don't know whether he played great or not. I didn't watch his entire season because he got traded away from my team mid-season. But like, I don't know. I feel like he might get something there, but it feels like a little bit of a long shot right now.
Okay,
I think it's just his playing style too. It's like,
yeah,
I can't. Like I remember when Alex Smith came back, I was like, no one go near his leg. Well, RG3, it's like no one go near him.
Yeah, and then Aaron Donald
jumped on his back. I was like, yay, sacked, but don't kill the poor guy. He just got back, and you're.
That's the thing too. Like you don't want to jump on his back because like you don't want to hurt his back. But you also don't want to go for his leg.
But like because like all of that weight goes to your legs, and it's just like.
You also don't want to go to his leg because then that's just gonna break it again.
Yeah, you go right. He goes right for his leg. It's probably even worse. But like the back is like. Honestly, in my mind, it was just as bad. It was like, please leave the poor guy. Like, don't leave him alone. Like, sack him, but you don't need to break him again.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Browns, though, they take a flyer on him. What's the worst that happens?
Have you guys, neither of you have had the privilege, I guess, of watching Robert Griffin III play for your favorite NFL team. Let's just say 2019, I don't think I've seen as bad of a quarterback performance in a win in a long time. Couldn't move the ball.
I've watched Jared Goff for 5 years, Splash.
I've watched Sam Darnold.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. At least those guys had flashes. At least Jared Goff played like a Pro Bowler at times. At least Sam Darnold had that one like.
You know who didn't have any flashes? Geno Smith.
He had a perfect pass rating against Miami.
He had a flash
wanna hear it.
last season.
I call him 158.30 Smith, so I don't want to hear it. I don't know Geno Smith slander allowed. Seahawks starting quarterback. Okay.
All right, what about Bryce Petty? I'll list quarterbacks all day.
That was bad. Bryce Petty was bad. But then again, Robert Griffin III, this is like 2019, 2020. So there's no good coming out of this. And that was the last time we saw him play. In Washington, he was great. He was really good in 2012, then the injuries. 2019, it was bad, but it was like, okay, who cares? It's week 17. You're already in the playoffs. Against Pittsburgh, in the Thanksgiving game that was moved back 3 times, Robert Griffin III was so bad. He had one awesome run, but as a passer was such a catastrophe. I think he ended with a pass rating in the teens. It was so bad that I think genuinely that if the Ravens had played 10 on 11, they would have had a better shot to win that game. Or if they just not thrown the football at all, I think they have a good chance of winning that game. And they actually almost came out and won. RG3 did get injured. McSorley came in, had the fluky 70-yard touchdown to Hollywood. But it was so agonizing watching Robert Griffin III throw the football. Granted, this was against a Pittsburgh defense that's very good. It was so disgusting that I almost flipped off my beloved Ravens to go to Chinese class and just not understand anything for an hour or for 50 minutes. It was so frustrating. Go Braves, chop on. It is beyond me how I put up with 2 RG3. I was there in person for one of them. The second one obviously wasn't in person, but it's agonizing. Look, I love RG3. I think he's an unbelievable player. I love what he's done for Baylor, social media stuff, what have you. The football player, I think I don't want to see RG3 play again. I do think the Browns would be a horrendous destination. Sorry, Josh. If there was a destination that I think he could get a solid run, Baltimore, he knows the system. Philadelphia, I don't think he necessarily knows the system, but you have to have a style of quarterback for RG3 to work. It doesn't work with the Ravens because they have a competent backup named Tyler Huntley. The Eagles are a fun one because Minshew's not the same kind of quarterback that Hurts is. RG3 is more in line with what Hurts is. Even like Kyler, the backup, you bring in RG3 as the backup, that's probably a better scheme fit, if you will. Atlanta with Mariota than RG3, okay. But I think there's probably limited interest in all likelihood. And RG3, great college career, Heisman Trophy winner, number 2 pick in the NFL draft. His career lasted longer than Andrew Luck, which is the real tragedy here. But I don't want to see RG3 suit up for my Ravens again, with all due respect.
I'm telling you, the Browns would be fun. I think he's better than Jacoby Brissett. I think he's a higher ceiling.
You're making me.
He has a higher ceiling than Jacoby Brissett.
This is like.
Stop it.
Stop. This is. I think they'll be the worst team in the league with Jacoby Brissett. I think they can make the playoffs with RG3.
What?
Oh, wow.
Sign RG3.
Josh is coming out with the bold takes today.
I'm clipping that. That's going on TikTok, and you're going to get all of the downvotes for that.
I'll put my name out there, and I'll say it. I'm confident.
Josh is like, I'm glad it came out of your mouth and not mine.
I'm not saying they'll win a playoff game. I'm not saying there's 7 teams that can make the playoffs. They'll make the playoffs.
What? But you said they're going to be the worst team in the league with Brissett.
Yeah, I just think RG. I think they could be the worst team. I don't think they will be the worst team.
Oh my God. Brissett's not that bad. What?
He's just like. I watch it, right? And I'm like,
he's like the 34th best quarterback in the NFL. He's better than Sam Darnold.
Yeah, but like I think that's such a low mark to me. I watched 3 years. I saw Sam Darnold's first preseason game, and that was I never wanted Sam Darnold. I wanted Baker, so I guess I wasn't totally right. But
I saw in person a game of Cam Newton against Case Keenum in 2016.
This year I went to Jets Dolphins. I saw Joe Flacco versus Tua.
Oh my God.
I've gotten let's see, my quarterback matchups. I got a a Flacco versus Brissett, not Andrew Luck. Flacco versus Andy Dalton. Lamar versus Baker. That was a good one. Lamar versus Baker again. RG3 versus Mason Rudolph. No, I think that might have been a Duck Hodges game. RG3 versus Duck Hodges. That would be a pretty bad one.
Lord, that sounds disgusting.
But you say Joe Flacco, like it was Joe Flacco and he's good. This was like, I was watching, we were at this game, and anytime someone would come close to Joe Flacco, he would just throw the ball away. He didn't want to be there. You could just tell. Like,
okay, at least two is like a top 25 quarterback. Flacco, no, but I didn't. I had to watch two not top 25 quarterbacks play a game. At least two is top 25.
Yeah.
And at that point for you, Jack, at least Cam was top 25.
He got sacked 5 times in that game.
Okay, well, I mean, Joe Burrow just got sacked 70 times and his team went to the Super Bowl. So, like,
and then yeah, that's fair, but still, it was just not a great performance from either side. That was the first Rams game I went to.
Ooh, rip.
2016. Everybody got to yell at Jeff.
I've seen some worse quarterback performance than Flacco too.
I mean,
sad.
I've been to a
one person.
Matt Ryan versus, was it a Fitzmagic game or a Winston game? It was Matt Ryan versus some Tampa Bay quarterback in 2018.
Steve, Jameis and Fitzmagic are fun. Like I could watch it all.
Yeah, they're fun. Okay. I'm gonna do some rapid fire here. We're off script. I'm gonna give you a quarterback, and I'm gonna give you one quarterback, and that's who you're gonna focus on. And then I'm gonna name a bunch of other quarterbacks, and you're gonna tell me if he's better or worse than them. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Since he's been in the news, we're gonna go with Baker touchdown maker. I'm gonna rattle off some quarterbacks. You tell me if he is a better quarterback than them or a worse quarterback than them.
This could be a fun new segment. So
I think this could be a fun new segment. All right. Is Baker Mayfield better than Tua Tagovailoa?
Absolutely.
Yes. Is Baker Mayfield better than Zach Wilson?
Nope. Nope.
I think you need to give it a year. I think yes for now, but I think you have to give it a year and we'll see.
I would change that to who would I like for Zach? Who would I rather have for the next 2 years? I would say I'd rather have Zach Wilson for the next 2 years.
Okay. Is he better than Mac Jones?
I would probably take Mac Jones.
I think it matters the team.
Okay.
Did you see the video where Mac Jones threw like a long pass? That was crazy.
I think I'd rather on the Panthers. I'd rather Baker.
Okay. Would you rather have Jacoby Brissett or Baker Mayfield?
Baker.
Okay. Would you rather have Davis Mills or Baker Mayfield?
Baker. Next question, please.
Would you rather have Matt Ryan or Baker Mayfield?
Ooh, I would take Matt Ryan. Ryan
Tannehill or Baker Mayfield?
Baker.
Probably Baker, yeah.
Next 2 years, Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield.
Trevor Lawrence.
Once the Jaguar, assuming he stays in the Jaguars, if they get their situation sorted, which good luck, but like if they do get their situation sorted, I think Trevor Lawrence is gonna make some noise.
Daniel Jones, Baker Mayfield.
Baker.
Jalen Hurts or Baker Mayfield?
Ooh. I like Jalen Hurts. I'll go with him.
Give me Baker for now. I think again, 2 years down the line, probably I would take Hurts, but for now, give me Baker.
Carson Wentz or Baker Mayfield?
Baker.
I love both. I actually am so high on both of them. This is tough.
I'm not high on Carson Wentz at all.
There was a point I said Carson Wentz is better than Zach, and I still think he can be.
You stand by that?
I did too, but I'm way away from that now.
See, I think I don't know. I think Baker. I'll go Baker over one. I love Baker. He's my guy.
Okay.
I'm not that high on Baker, but I'm just way too low on Carson Wentz in that specific.
I think Carson Wentz is going to show out this year.
Okay. Baker Mayfield or Jared Goff?
Baker.
Ooh, boy. See, this is me having watched Jared Goff for 5 years. And Goff actually did beat him in a head-to-head, but that was like just a really weird game. I would probably take Baker.
Was that the 4th and 9 halfback draw?
That was the 4th and 9. Oh, that was so weird. And he got picked off by future Brown, John Johnson.
Okay. Baker Mayfield or Justin Fields next 2 seasons?
Ooh, that's tough because I just have no faith in the Bears.
Yeah.
I think Justin Fields will be better.
Fields, maybe. I don't think he's going to move anywhere, but like I think there is some potential, but he was not great last year. Give me Baker for now.
Okay.
I said that there, so Baker too, I guess.
Okay. Baker Mayfield, Marcus Mariota.
Baker.
Okay. Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold.
Baker.
I'm not gonna even answer that.
Baker Mayfield or Jameis Winston.
Ooh. I kind of want to go Jameis here, honestly. I feel like there's some upside to Jameis.
Jameis was really solid last year. I think he was underrated until he got hurt. I also think, like,
You have to
Baker
think coming off the injury too. It's like,
Good point.
I think like they're even for me. I would be fine with either quarterback.
yeah, I'd be fine with either one.
Okay. Baker Mayfield or Geno Smith.
Baker.
Okay. Baker Mayfield or Jimmy Garoppolo.
Baker.
Baker Mayfield or Trey Lance next 2 seasons.
Next 2 seasons, assuming Debo stays, I think Trey.
I'll go with
Like,
Baker.
if I'm the 49ers, I probably would stick with Trey Lance there.
Right, that is Baker Mayfield, this or that. Thank you, Josh, for the naming the segment in the private chat. So this or that, Baker Mayfield, I'll get that clipped up. That was fun. I have to do that every week. Quick hitter segment.
I know we were talking about Jared Goff or Baker, but I think even the Lions, like Baker Marks Rappaport, came out today and said the Lions called the Browns about Baker Mayfield.
Did he know? I did not know about that.
Really?
Yeah, he said on the Pat McAfee show. So that could
I think that tells me that the Lions, like, I made this assumption when the trade first happened, like the Stafford trade first happened. The Lions know that they're entering, I don't want to say a full-on rebuild, but like they know Jared Goff is kind of like a stopgap. Like, is he the guy right now? Probably
I think they're
not.
trying to rebuild the roster before putting a quarterback in.
I really like their roster. I think we touched on this either at some point, but they have one player over the age of 30 on the roster, Michael Brockers, the Ravens legend. Everyone else is young, and everyone else is like a breakout player potential. I wrote an article last Tuesday about like the breakout player, and it's like there are some teams. Miami comes to mind, Tampa comes to mind, Arizona comes to mind. Who is a breakout player on the roster? And I had restrictions that no rookies, no former first-round picks. So there's no one to choose from. The Lions, I could have a full team of breakout players. Like everyone on every single position, it feels like, has a guy that can step up from like whatever they were last year to a lot better. You have Akuda, you have a guy in Deshaun Elliott that's finally going to play in his correct position. You have a guy in Armani Aruwariye that could jump from like good to an all-pro caliber player.
I think St. Brown's going to be great too.
I love St. Brown.
St. Brown looks really good.
TJ Chark coming back. He's gonna have a quarterback that throws him the football. TJ Hawkinson could jump into that top 4 tight end discussion. Penny Sewell entering year 2. Jonah Jackson, he was a Pro Bowler last year. He didn't grade out very well, but he was solid last year. He could be even better. DeAndre Swift hasn't had a real breakout season.
See,
a fun roster.
I talk poorly of Jared Goff, but I don't think he's the worst quarterback in the league. He's competent enough to run an offense that's like, I feel like this is kind of the thing around Jared Goff is like the whole supporting cast has sort of been the narrative.
Is he like, okay, would you have him? I would imagine both of you would have him in your bottom half of starting quarterbacks, right? So 17 to 32.
Yeah.
He's probably my 17, yeah.
Okay, above or below 25?
Above.
Ooh, I feel like around there for me.
I feel around there.
He could be
like around, like he would be floating around like
27.
Okay.
See, my problem with the Lions is I don't think Dan Campbell's necessarily. I think he's a great like motivator, but I don't think he's a great like coach.
I think there's room to be both of those, and I think that's okay to be both of those. Like there are guys around the league that are CEO types. Like John Harbaugh is not a great X's and O's offense or defense guy. He's a special teams guy. That's what he came from the Andy Reid tree. Special teams. Well, guess what? He has a great CEO type vibe that he's gonna, he's not gonna be the Sean McVay of the offense. He's not gonna be the Bill Belichick or the Pete Carroll of the defense. He's just gonna kind of be there and be the like kind of analytics play too. I think Mike Tomlin does this really well. Like if you go through the top 10 head coaches, I think you're going to have some offensive minds, the LaFleur's, McVay's, Shanahan's. You're going to have some defensive minds, Belichick's. And then you're going to have some guys that are like more motivator, more development, more like not as much X's and O's guys. Like if Lamar Jackson has a question about how to like play quarterback, he's not going to John Harbaugh. He would go to Andy Reid. He would go to Sean McVay. He would go to even Brandon Staley. I know he's a defensive coach, but he was a quarterback back in college. But he's not going to John Harbaugh for that. He's going to Greg Roman's not a great guy to go to for that either, but he's going to Greg Roman. He's going to the passing game coordinator that I'm blanking on his name right now. He's going to T. Martin, who's the receiver. I think he's still the receivers coach, but he's going. There's other resources there, and I think it can be okay to not be the greatest X's and O's guy, and you can still be an effective coach.
Like last year, the one moment I think it was on Thanksgiving when Campbell should have called a timeout, and he let the clock go. Betting was all the way down to like 3 seconds, and then he instead iced the kicker on like a 25-yard field goal instead of giving his team time. And those are questions like that cost you a game.
Okay, that's fair.
That game either way, obviously, probably.
That was fair.
But those small decisions, if you're doing that during a game, can cost you. Be a difference between a win and loss. And those are things like Harbaugh and Tomlin aren't gonna. They know when to call a timeout, or like you can question the decisions for going for 2 last year, but like it made sense. It just didn't work out.
Look, if that just the 2-point conversion conversation, I'm tired of it. I got into so many points.
I mean, obviously it plays totally different if they make it. So like that's why people question it. But like you have to look at the aspect of the game, and do you think like when they play Green Bay, do you think in overtime you're beating them? If the answer is no, you go for 2.
Yeah, it's like the Pittsburgh game.
Yeah.
I at that point I could not name the third corner on the field, like for the Ravens. I just could not. And I like know 75 players that played for the Ravens last year. Like I just could not name the players that would have been on the field if you needed it for defense. So that one makes sense. You have Lamar, you have Mark Andrews. That is like quintessential Ravens. It just happens that TJ Watt is the unblocked defender. Drop a better play than leaving TJ Watt unblocked. I don't know what the decision was there. And then the other one, it's Tyler Huntley. I think Lamar finds Hollywood in the back of the end zone and take the lead there. So I don't know. I'm okay with going for 2 on both of those. I think at that point the Ravens, it's the same thing in college football, that if you are the team that's like the underdog in that situation, I think you should go for 2 and end it. So the Ravens were the first game weren't really the underdog, but Pittsburgh had all the momentum. They just scored twice, and the Ravens had all the injuries. Okay, just go for it now. End it right here. Then the second week, you're playing against Aaron Rodgers, and you have Tyler Huntley. Like, no-brainer. It's also at home. I think it's a no-brainer. So
it's also easy to second-guess it when it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, this is like when Brandon Staley...
I wouldn't have done that, but, like, I mean, I think it was the right decision. Obviously, people are going to say, if they got it, people would call him a genius for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like imagine if it works out and they get both of those and they're 10-7 and they're in the playoffs. No one's criticizing Harbaugh for anything. People were calling for Harbaugh's head after the second one. Ay. All right, let's move on. We have some. Actually, I helped make this list. Nick Spano made the players. I made the list. Let me see if I can find it.
Let's
I think
kind
I
of
have it
rapid
on my
fire
doc.
this. Like, we have so much to get to still. So
This is a good point. All right,
should
we're gonna
really,
go
like,
rapid fire.
answer.
You guys, essentially, this can be a thumbs up, thumbs down segment. I'm gonna give you the player. I'm gonna give you one sentence why it makes sense, and you tell me. You give me a thumbs up or you give me a thumbs down.
this is
as soon
20
as I
players
finish the
who
list.
should be moved, who could be moved.
Also, Kenny Lofton Jr. is quote bullying Chet Holmgren.
This is
That
out
is-
of date.
Oh,
I-
I'm sure, Josh, you have plenty to say about Mr. Chet Holmgren from the other night.
It's Summer League is just one of those things where it's like it doesn't mean much to me. I personally don't think he'll live up to the hype, but I also get why people think he will. But it's like if he had a bad game, it would be the end of the world, which is also stupid. So I think you have to take some of it with a grain of salt.
Okay. All right.
It matters, but it's not like the end all be all in summer league, is my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Rapid fire. I'm going to give you the name, one sentence, and you give me thumbs up, thumbs down. Jimmy Garoppolo. It might be more of an indictment on Trey Lance that Garoppolo has not been traded yet.
He does not move this season.
Okay. Baker
That's my
Mayfield
thumbs down.
just got traded. That's irrelevant. Kareem Hunt. The Browns are already paying Nick Chubb top-tier running back money, and they have an effective third stringer in Dearness Johnson.
I just don't know where Hunt could go. So
For me,
but
if Brissett's a starter, they need the run game, and you don't want to just kill Chubb. And having Hunt as a pass catcher could be very valuable.
Okay. Zach Moss. Devin Singletary is entrenched as the starter while the Bills just spent a second-round pick on James Cook.
I think it's fair.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Deebo Samuel. Samuel appears to be unhappy, and he might want out regardless of the Garoppolo situation.
You can't trade your bet. You can't trade him and start Lance.
Okay.
They shouldn't trade him, but he's going to force his way out, I feel like, if he's not happy there.
Denzel Mims. With the likes of Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore coming to town over the years, Mims is too far down on the depth chart to make much of an impact.
Oh, this is tough for me. I love Mims.
That is a tough call.
Of course you do.
I love the pick. I also love him as a person. I don't think he'll get playing time on the Jets, so I hope he goes somewhere where he can play. So I'm fine with that.
Okay. DK Metcalf. He is due for a similar extension to Terry McLaurin and A.J. Brown.
Trade him to the Bears.
Wow.
I don't think
Now-
he's going anywhere this year.
Whoa.
Some pick.
Whoa, slow down. Okay, would you rather next 2 years DK and Mooney or DK and Lockett?
Give me DK and Lockett, honestly.
I want Mooney.
Ooh, that's a good one. I think
That's a
that'd be
good debate. But I feel like if you could find the right quarterback for these two, like
I think
Tyler
Justin
Lockett
Fields
does
is
not
the perfect
miss.
quarterback for them. It's like at a certain point you have to give him some help, and you didn't help him at all this offseason. Give him trade your first round pick away. You're most likely not going to get someone better than DK, and help your young quarterback who desperately needs it.
fair. All right, Laviska Shenault. The Jaguars seem to have pivoted away from the former Colorado playmaker.
I think no, you got to keep him.
I think you keep him.
All right. Jalen Rager. Even the most optimistic depth chart would have him as the fifth best option in the pass casting core.
I mean, like, it's either cut him. You're not trading him for anything. You might as well.
During the draft, it was
work.
alleged that the Ravens were going to trade for Jalen Rager in a package that included Chuck Clark.
Yeah, like I don't think you can trade him for anything. So you might as well keep him, build up his worth.
All right. Scotty Miller. The Bucs have continued to invest in wide receivers and tight ends.
That's fun.
All
They
right.
did just lose Gronk, but
This is true. Kate Otten's going to have an awesome year this year. Come back in 4 months when that happens. Bud Dupree. He was a bust of a signing, and he has been overshadowed by Harold Landry on his own pass rush.
yeah,
I'm fine
I
with
think
that.
you could probably move him.
Kaylavon Chason. He has been a spectacular failure in Duval County.
Give him some more time.
Sure.
All right. Robert Quinn. Quinn is incredibly productive, but a combination of age, inconsistent tape, and the situation could force Quinn out of the Windy City.
I am banging the table for a Rams reunion. I want.
Yeah,
him
he's
to come
coming to
back.
the Jets. If he comes to the Jets, sure.
Okay. Clelland Farrell, a former top 5 pick. Farrell has some ineffectiveness, but he is replaceable even on a below average Raiders interior.
Yeah, just restart
I
the Raiders.
genuinely cannot believe this guy was taken top 5. Like, that was just such a reach, honestly.
Deron Payne. The Commanders have an embarrassment of riches along the defensive front with the likes of Jonathan Allen, Chase Young, and Montez Sweat.
Somebody spelled Chase Young's name wrong in this post.
That was a copy-paste error.
Point aside. Yeah.
Keep him.
Okay.
I don't think it hurts either way.
Sheldon Rankins. Similar to Payne, Rankins might just not have much of a role in New York.
I think he's gonna have a bigger role than people think.
Okay.
I think the Jets are kind of fit in at tackle.
Fair.
I think at D line too. That's why I think they could look at Robert Quinn.
All right. Sidney Jones. The Seahawks could continue to strip down the roster, meaning Jones could follow Metcalf out the door.
That's fun.
Sure.
Okay. Bradley Roby. Roby has been a solid slot for a while, but he might be relegated to slot-only duties in New Orleans.
Yeah, he probably will want out reading the rest of this.
All right. Isaiah Simmons, the tweener and former top 10 pick. Simmons might want out after failing to secure a concrete spot on the field, either at linebacker or at safety. Think of him as the Debo of the defense.
Like he's not happy playing in one spot.
No, I think a team could definitely. There's a lot of teams that could definitely use his capabilities better than the Cardinals.
I agree. Speaking of, Chuck Clark. With Marcus Williams and Kyle Hamilton in town, Clark would be an overqualified third safety in dime packages.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I think you hold on to Chuck Clark.
Need that depth. I mean, the Ravens.
I'm not just saying that because he got a pick 6 off Stafford.
This is true.
I think like the Ravens last year showed like we need some depth. Why we're just going to trade someone away?
But yeah, I understand that. But at the same time,
I wouldn't say you need like too much depth.
Do you need overqualified depth?
Like
I don't know.
Never
I think he might be worth more.
It doesn't hurt. Like you saw how close the Ravens were to winning some of their last few games of the year, and
this is true.
They weren't.
This is true. All right, Jesse Bates. Not only is there a contract dispute here, but the Bengals just spent a first round. But they just spent a first round pick on his replacement.
If you were the Bengals, do not let go of Jesse Bates.
It's also like
hold on to him.
In the NFL, your window is so short. Why would you trade away such a key contributor during that window?
That's fair. So that will wrap up our 20 players that could be moved. Of course, one of them was already moved in Baker Mayfield, but there's the 20. Moving on, we have some NBA news and rumors. We had the Rudy Gobert trade, 4 first-round picks, something crazy like that. 5.
It's 5. It's 4, and Walker Little was a first-round pick this year.
This is like when Miami got traded 5 first-round picks for Tyreek Hill. Like,
my question is, if you get 5 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert, how many picks do you get for KD?
5 first-rounders from the Pelicans. And Jackson Hayes and Brandon Ingram.
I'd rather have KD.
Then 7 first-round picks, essentially.
But this is my thing. You trade KD, right?
Uh-huh.
So for the first 3 to 4 years, those first-round picks are useless, especially in the NBA. Those first-round
in fairness, those aren't all Pelicans picks. Some of them are Lakers. Some of them are Bucks. Well, some of them are Lakers. Some of them are Bucks. But
the Bucks are probably useless too. The Lakers, I think, will be better than last year.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Have you seen the Nick Wright graphic? There was 3 teams that could make a competitive offer for Kevin Durant. It was the Lakers. You're gonna love this. It was Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook plus picks for Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
What?
Nope.
What?
And then you had the 5 first round.
Was that a real offer they made?
No. This was Nick Wright saying. Then the first one was the Pelicans 5 first round picks plus Ingram plus Jackson Hayes.
I was about to slander Rob Pelinka.
See, David and I hosted the NBA Space last week about it, and I said if I was the Nets, the worst case scenario is they have a big 3 of DeAndre Ayton, Russell Westbrook, and Ben Simmons. I just would never watch an NBA game again. If I was the Nets, I'd call Toronto. I'd say, give us Scotty Barnes.
Overrated.
I think he's a great player.
He's not as good as Evan Mobley. I don't want to hear this.
I think he can be better though.
But okay, he can be better.
I'm not from there. You get a couple picks from them, and then you incorporate Utah into the trade.
Okay.
You give away Ben Simmons and some picks, and you get Donovan Mitchell.
Whoa. So wait. Okay. So you're Brooklyn. You get Mitchell, and you get picks from Toronto
and Scotty Barnes.
Okay. Where does
Kyrie? That's the best consolation prize you can get if you trade KD and Kyrie. And maybe then Kyrie wants to stay in Brooklyn for a year.
Okay. Or maybe you trade him to the Lakers and you get to watch Russell Westbrook 80 times a year.
I have a feeling if the Lakers get Kyrie, it will be a 3-team deal.
I hate the thought of the Lakers getting Kyrie.
Yeah, we've been through this. Jack's not a big fan of the will he, won't he play stuff.
Yeah. I think, to me, it's 1 year left on his contract, and he knows teams are hesitant to pay him. So I think I'm not going to say
if he wants a super max, I don't even know if the Lakers can afford
conversation. I would not be surprised if he's up there in MVP conversation.
Okay.
I think he's a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong. I just, like Splash said, I hate the whole will he, won't he play.
But I think this year he's going to be very motivated to play and show I deserve that max contract.
I hope he does, because the Lakers have kind of been through a lot, like with just the injuries, like a lot of will he, won't he with AD and LeBron, even and Westbrook. So it's like they have on paper a roster that's like good enough to compete. It's just nobody could stay healthy at once.
Fair.
They are, it seems like, getting more depth. I love the Thomas Bryant signing. I am so happy that he's back.
Yeah, they have Bryant, Pippen, and O'Neal.
They were kicking ass in the summer league games earlier this week. They were doing so good. They
So
scored
LeBron-
100 points twice in the summer league.
LeBron got to play with Shaq, and now he gets to play with his son potentially.
Yeah, and Pippen and Bryant. They're big three now. Bryant, Pippen, and O'Neal.
This
Okay.
is like kids that were
You
saying.
see
This is like
the
NFL
Pippen,
players that were saying that they were like old, like when they were little kids, they were watching Tom Brady play. Now they're getting to start against him. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if I can verify this, but did Tom Brady ever throw an interception to Antoine Winfield Sr.? I actually could verify it.
That's before my time.
Okay.
did he throw one to Winfield Jr.? Are we looking for a father
They're
and son here?
teammates. Now,
Yeah.
well, he's teammates with Winfield Jr. now.
Oh,
Did he ever pick off Senior, or did Senior ever pick off Brady? Because that would be funny. That maybe Winfield Jr. is like, yo, my dad used to tell me stories of the time he picked you off in a random Bills Patriots game. Or I guess it could be Bills or Patriots Vikings. You know what's weird? Brady never plays the Cardinals. He just doesn't play the Cardinals. He's played them twice in 22 seasons.
it's so weird.
He doesn't like Arizona. What can you say?
Yeah, he just doesn't like Arizona. So Garoppolo had to start the one because Brady was suspended, and Castle started the other. They murdered the Cardinals that game. But that was like right at the end of the year that he tore his ACL. And then they were going to play in 2020. And nope, Brady's out of town. They play this year, though. So Brady's going to come up with some convoluted reason for why he won't play. But there we go. So Antoine Winfield, did he ever pick off Tom Brady? Thankfully, it's only a matter of did he pick off the Patriots? He had 27 career interceptions. Did one of them come against the Patriots? I think it has to be one of them came against the Patriots. At least one of them.
27?
Of 27. He had one against the Colts. He won against Peyton. He did. No, wait. Did he pick off Brady or was that Bledsoe? Well, I guess this is in all likelihood Brady. Okay, so here we go. 2001, November 11th, Bills at Patriots. Did Antoine Winfield Sr. pick Brady off or was it like some other guy? All right, who threw the interception? Alex Van Pelt was a quarterback in the NFL. I was Brady. So Brady is playing with a guy whose father picked him off in 2001.
Wow.
That is wild. Okay.
Fun
moving
stuff that we
on.
can tweet later.
Yeah. Now, I wonder how many teammates that Brady's played with, like multiple members of the family. That's a fun. I don't have any interest in looking that up, but that's a fun one. All right, Josh, are you a big F1 guy at all?
I think it's interesting, but I haven't. I watched the Netflix show. I didn't dive deep into it though.
You watch the Netflix show. That's the starting point for everybody these days,
Yeah.
honestly.
Gotcha. All right, Jack, inform us what happened Sunday. That was it Sunday? Saturday?
Yeah, it was Sunday. It was this past
Okay.
Sunday.
What happened Sunday
the
that-
British?
Scary.
Yeah, so the British Grand Prix took place last Sunday. First of all, that was the race of the season. That was so crazy. There were battles like crazy. There were like 5 different teams battling for second place at one point. It was crazy. So I keep saying crazy, but that's just what it was. The scary thing, however, happened on the first lap. There was a first lap crash involving, I hope I'm not butchering this, Zhou Guanyu crashed on the first lap.
Chinese minor proves.
I'm going to show an image, and I just want to say, but before I do show the image, he is okay. He was not harmed. No major injuries and all this. Can you imagine how scary it would be to be in this car? Like sliding upside down.
It looks photoshopped almost.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about. Like, it's just... You're upside down. You're sliding at, like, almost 200 miles an hour, and then eventually he flipped into the fence that was like near the gravel somewhere. It's wild to think about how many people were like, so I didn't follow F1 when the halo was added onto the cars, which is like that metal. It's like this piece of the car right here. I didn't follow F1 too closely, but I could tell like people were like really divisive on the halo. But ever since then, like there have been quite a handful of incidents, I'd say this one for sure included, where if the halo wasn't there, we would be having a much different conversation and a much worse conversation. So
I agree. So all thumbs up for safety measures.
Yeah, 100%.
Even
Shout out to
restrictor plates in NASCAR. Like I know like hardcore NASCAR fans didn't like it because it like reduced the speed at some races, but makes it safer.
They're not there anymore, but they have new cars this year and they're much safer. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And safety definitely has come a long way in racing, and I think that the halo is definitely one thing that's shown that for sure. Carlos Sainz won the race. It was his first win in F1. Lewis Hamilton, I think he had a real shot to win. He led the race, which I don't think he's led a race this year, so that was really fun to see. He finished third. I believe Sergio Perez was P2. It's kind of interesting to see what happened. I think that's what George Russell did when that wreck happened was real. Like he ran over to make sure he was okay. I think there was some talk over whether or not F1 was like okay with that. But I think it was really good that he was the good Samaritan in that moment. So it was good to see him like checking on his fellow driver, making sure everything was all right. First race of the year, by the way, where he did not finish in the top 5. So that was my mini F1 recap. They are in, I believe, Austria this week.
Oh, fun. Also, Kyle Schwarber, ding dong, his 26th of the season. I believe the only person with more is a certain Aaron with the gavel. So, yeah. Also, side note, we didn't have it in the script, but MLB All-Star Games.
Oh yeah, that's close.
Soon. Voting has been some voting has been revealed. Ballots closed Friday. What is America doing voting in Shohei Ohtani over Yordan Alvarez? Like, I'm at a loss. I know Ohtani is great, but you can't even factor in the pitching stuff because it's the designated hitter only. He could get voted in, or he could get selected by friggin' Dusty Baker. Like, that's fine. He deserves it for being a two-way player. He does not deserve to start in the NFL. That's the wrong way.
NFL.
He does not deserve to start in the MLB All-Star game as the designated hitter because Yordan Alvarez is the best hitter on the planet right now. No one can get him out. He just hit his 25th home run. Every 5 minutes, it feels like I get a ding dong. Yordan Alvarez home run. Oh, look, he gets me 6 more fantasy points here, 8 more fantasy points today. He had a month in the history of the sport. 400 batting average, 500 on base, 800 slugging. 8 guys have ever done that. 8. Mickey Mantle is one of them. You are being compared to Mickey Mantle. And Shohei Ohtani should get the vote. What?
See, my thing is, this happened. Sometimes it takes for fan vote to get rid of it. It takes something like Zaza almost getting voted in to be a starter, and Ohtani is that name brand, and Yordan's still so young, and this is best year by far. Where it's like if you're not a big Astros guy or big MLB guy, you don't really know. You should know who he is, but you don't really know who he is. So I think that's where we need more coaches, and players to pick the All-Star. It's not just fans, because we see fans too, and we saw with the opening one, there was 5 Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays are in 4th place in the AL East. There shouldn't be 5.
There's one good Blue Jay. I know the Braves had a couple, like Adam Duvall doesn't deserve it, or Ozzie Albies got injured and doesn't deserve it, but it just annoys me when the fans get it so wrong, and they just give it to people that don't necessarily deserve it. Ohtani deserves to be an all-star. At least we can get that. He deserves to be an all-star.
Sure.
Not the starting DH. That's fine. So if he gets voted in, I'm not mad that he's an all-star. I'm just mad that he's in over Yordan. Although Ohtani might start the game as a pitcher, and it might not matter, and Yordan gets to play DH. So that's just frustrating. But say if Bichette wins at shortstop, honestly, I don't think Bichette or Anderson are all-star caliber this year. I would have taken Bogarts Jeremy Pena. But like, okay, that one, whatever, who cares? But there's other spots that if, say, like if Adam Duvall steals a spot from Mookie Betts, Adam Duvall is not an all-star this year.
Yeah.
Come on now.
If Shane McClanahan's not starting for the AL, that's going to be very sad. I think he deserves it.
I think he deserves it as well.
I think those starting pitchers should already be determined.
The only issue is you have to make sure they're not starting like the Sunday before the All-Star game because then they're ineligible. Or even, is it Saturday as well, or is it just Sunday?
The game is a Tuesday, so I don't. The game might be a Wednesday, actually. The home run derby might be Tuesday, so there would be games on Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, so there's no. If you pitch Sunday, you're not allowed to. If you start on Sunday, you're not allowed to play in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
So that could rule out some people. I don't know how the rotations are working out around the league.
Usually MLB teams, it's one start, and they know pitching the All-Star game is a big thing. They'll try the.
Yeah, you can. Try to
it should be McClanahan and Alcantara. If they're not starting, that's an issue.
Do you think Dusty Baker and Brian Snitker are gonna any funny business? Because I know that Snitker has said that like he wants to give like Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts didn't get to manage in the All-Star game, and it was Davey Martinez. Sorry, Martinez didn't get to manage in the All-Star game. Dave Roberts did last year. So is there any? The Dodgers and Yankees, Dodgers and Nationals don't really have any starters that I would like say are starters. At least rotation wise.
I saw Tony Gonsolin is up there for pitcher.
That's true.
Yeah.
But would you take if you're Brian Snitker, could you go to bed at night if you took Tony Gonsolin over Max Fried to start the All-Star game?
I think so.
I don't think Fried would be able to go to bed, but
like, come on now. I think
like also, I know we say the managers decide. I do think it's like the players kind of come together and decide.
They choose a lot of players. They choose a lot of the pieces, but I think the manager decide, like the manager and coaches decide starting pitcher, and they used to decide the National League DH, but we get to vote. Make sure you vote for William Contreras. Do your duty.
I wonder. Oh, geez, I can't talk. I wonder if I can get to the All-Star game this year. That'd be kind of fun.
That would be unbelievable. Ask Frankie and Nick. Say, hey, I'm going to do content at the MLB All-Star game. Do it live, like even the home run derby. Like that would be so cool. Also, Josh, I know you and I talked about this on the space last night. Make sure you follow MLB on uSTADIUM on Twitter. It's uSTADIUM MLB. Jack, you get 4 players in your home run derby. What 4 players are you choosing? Any position, any league.
Any position.
Yep. 4 players. What would give you the most joy in watching a home run derby?
I think Acuna will be up there. I'll please you with that one.
Yes.
Jeez. Give me. What's my biased Dodgers answer?
Yeah.
Do I go with Mookie or Freddie? Probably Mookie.
Neither of them like fit the home run mold to me. Like they're good hitters, they're great hitters, but
I think Justin Turner or Max.
Yeah, Muncy. Turner would be fun.
Max Muncy's done it before, but
Will Smith would be fun.
I wish Bellinger was better because I probably would have taken him. Like in his first few years, Bellinger was going off. I'll take Max Muncy then.
You got Acuna, Muncy,
probably Shohei.
Okay.
Just for because on a home run value, Shohei is like insane. I feel like
crazy against Soto last year. I need Soto to come back in the home run derby, fix the swing again, and then just go ape expletive in the second half, fantasy purposes and money purposes. So Jack, one more person.
One more guy. Who's hit a lot of home runs this year? I'm just thinking on number.
Judge leads the majors.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Judge. I don't know how I forgot about Judge. Give me Judge.
All right, Josh, your ultimate home run derby this year. 4 players.
Jordan.
Yes.
I think Vlad would be a lot of fun.
Okay, Vlad, you said you didn't want Judge because you're.
I don't want Judge to do it, but in my hypothetical world, Judge. And then the 4th one, it's tough between Ohtani and Stanton.
Okay. Ooh, Stanton would hit some absolute laser beams.
Just up there too, obviously.
Uh-huh.
I think Mike Trout would be good at it.
Oh yeah, Trout would be.
Yeah,
a lot
Trout
of
would be really good.
4 guys is tough. It's tough to narrow it down to 4.
fun.
But the top 3 would definitely be.
That's why the home run derby's more with the 4
Wow.
guys usually. I think.
Yeah.
You know, I would totally go for it if it was like a not a rotating thing, but if like every month you like mixed in, like you had a round of the home run derby. Hear me out. This is a ridiculous idea. What if you had a 32 player home run derby and it was in rounds? So maybe like one in April or one opening day. You have then 2 Memorial Day, 3 4th of July All-Star game, 4th Field of Dreams game, and then 5th right at the end of the regular season. It's like right before the playoffs. So you have 5 rounds. You go 32, 16, 8, 4, 2.
See, I think like players like would default out at a certain point. Like Judge, if he got this far, like he'd like, okay, like it's about to be or
That's true.
in August.
When you're late into the season, you would rather focus on like playoffs.
Yeah, or if someone got injured. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I think in my hypothetical that you have like you get 16 players from both leagues and you get one from each team.
I mean, that would still be
like
fun to watch, but
It'd be fun to watch.
It feels like
I don't think players would love it.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
You'd be
fair.
on the MLB side of the negotiations.
That's fair. I'll also say hello to my father.
showing up in the background.
Yep. All right. So Jack, anything on the NHL side of things you want to touch on?
Yeah, the NHL dropped the schedule today, which is pretty fun. They're going to be opening the series or the season in. They're bringing back the global series. It's going to be in. How do you pronounce Prague? How do you pronounce
Prague.
it?
Yep.
Prague. Yeah. The Sharks and Predators will be playing in that to open the season, and then there's a double header back in the States after that. I believe. Let me double check this actually.
Is there a game at Lake Tahoe this year?
I wish there was. That was really fun to watch. Let me search the NHL. Twitter.
I hope the Avalanche are playing so I can see my guy Kale McCarr.
Kale McCarr is insane. I love watching Kale McCarr. The Avalanche are playing on the Wednesday of opening week. So the Friday and Saturday, October 7th and 8th, are the openers. And then Tuesday, there's a doubleheader between the Lightning and Rangers, and then the Kings and Golden Knights. And then Wednesday is the first day. There's like 6 games. The Avs are playing one of those. When did the Avalanche open their schedule, actually? I want to check that out.
All right. While Jack is looking for that, Josh, give me your top 2 retro reverse jerseys.
Oh, that's tough. I don't even know. I like the Brewers retro jerseys.
Okay,
That's baseball.
Oh, it has to be hockey. Oh, I definitely.
Yeah, we're talking about
Okay.
so in last season, every NHL team had reverse retro jerseys, which is like
we did a tier list of them.
Yeah,
I'll look them up. I'm not the biggest. I'm more of a college hockey guy.
all right.
And by college hockey, I mean UMass hockey.
Understandable.
My top 2, but I think were Kings and Avalanche. I think.
I think Avalanche ones. Looking at them.
I was a big fan of. I own a Wild one. I was a fan of the Golden Knights and Avs. I think those were my 2 favorites. Hurricanes are up there. There's like 6 or 7 S tier ones. We did a video, one of our first ever like tier this. We didn't even call it tier this at the time. We just ranked them. That was fun. We should do that.
That was really
we should
fun.
do that again.
You know what's gonna happen? We're gonna be able to do it again soon because they're coming back this coming season.
What are they gonna do for the Kraken?
You know what I think they're gonna do? They're gonna do something for like the Seattle Metropolitans. Like that was like an old,
Okay.
like
I like
really
it.
old
I like
team
it.
that used to be in Seattle. I think they're probably leaning in that direction.
All right. Okay. Go. Anything else, Jack?
Colorado opens their season on October 12th.
Okay.
Against Chicago. That's when they get to raise their 3rd Stanley Cup banner.
Yes, 1996, boo, 2001, and 2022. Congratulations, Colorado Avalanche. All right, and for our final topic, we have a tier this. It's
Speaking
NFL,
of tier this.
Yeah, speaking of tier this, NFL offseason additions. Offseason edition with an E. So we are grading the draft, trades, free agency, who has had the best offseason, who has had the worst offseason. Jack, throw it up. Let's get into it.
There we go.
Let me see if I can go full screen without like my entire face disappearing. Okay, we're good. All right. Let's start with the Arizona Cardinals. Each of us gives one letter, and we'll average out the letter as best as we can. So Arizona Cardinals, grade their offseason. I was underwhelmed.
Yeah, I would
I think
probably
to include like DeAndre Hopkins getting suspended. Too.
Yeah, that would count. I would go C tier, honestly. At best.
Yeah, I'd go C.
Yeah, you spent your first round pick essentially on Hollywood Brown. You picked Trey McBride in the second, which good player, not a great spot. You have Zach Ertz there. The mid round picks were okay. You still have the Kyler drama, which I think is being cleared up now. They just made weird moves. This is like what I'm going to talk about probably with a lot of these teams is some teams got better, some teams stayed the same, and some teams got worse. I think the Cardinals got worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't hate the Marquise Brown trade, but it's like
it was a win for them, I think.
Yeah, but with Hopkins suspended, it's like now he actually like really has to go off, or it's going to be a problem. I'm going to go C tier.
All right. The Atlanta Falcons. Drake London in the first round. Bring in Marcus Mariota. Deion Jones is on his way out. Foye Oluokun is now a Jaguar. I don't know. It's kind of just like rebuilding. So we almost should probably have a tier of just like this team is rebuilding. Their goal is not to be good this year.
Can I add another tier? Or no, I can move them down. I just shifted the whole thing. Jeez. We'll do the D tier will be D/rebuild. We'll call it that. Okay.
Because I think Atlanta, like, you're not trying to win by signing Mariota and drafting Drake London 8th overall. I love their draft. So I don't even want to throw them in the rebuild category. I really like their draft. London was whatever, but they got was it not Pascal? It was, or was it? No, Pascal's still on the Lions. It was Falcons draft. They got their second round pick, Ebiketie. Okay, freaking Arnold Ebiketie is going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm going to make a video about it in the future, but Arnold Ebiketie, really awesome guy. Was super productive at Temple, super productive at Penn State. He's going to be immediately their best pass rusher, other than Grady Jarrett, but he's going to be immediately their best edge rusher. I'm going to throw the Falcons at probably B, even though I didn't like their free agency period. I vote for B.
Okay, so we can just rebuilding.
We can put them in C.
Away Matt Ryan for Marcus Mariota.
We'll go in the middle. We'll put them in C.
Okay, sounds good.
What do you think of your Ravens?
They killed the draft. They won the Hollywood Brown trade. I get both Arizona and Baltimore won the Hollywood Brown trade. You got Marcus Williams. I think it's an A. I don't think it's the clear best, but I think it's up there. Very productive free agency, and then a top 3 draft class. I would say A tier.
I agree with that.
All right. I will trust you guys. Buffalo, I feel like A.
They
either
lost
A
their
or
number
B.
2 corner.
That's true.
They did bring in Von Miller.
I did like that. Well, if I'm a Bills fan, I like the Von Miller thing, but
Right.
I'm obviously not.
Emmanuel Sanders is gone.
I think Sanders is gone with the emergence of Gabriel Davis. So I don't know if that's necessarily a loss.
I didn't love their draft. I didn't love Elam in the first round. I didn't love Cook in round 2.
Maybe B tier.
In front 6. I would probably go B tier.
I think B tier is fair. B for Buffalo. Panthers would have been different like 6 or 7 hours ago.
Yes.
I think I'd give them a B.
Okay.
It's also a trade for Baker. So now is Matt Corral next year? Is that what your plan is with him? So like kind of puts your like draft in question in a sense.
I did like Ekwonu at 6.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't take a quarterback at 6. They did trade up for Corral. They had limited draft capital to begin with. Then they got Amari Barno out of Tech, right? The edge that ran a 4.39. I liked their draft, all things considered. The Ian Thomas signing should dock them because I don't know why you're paying Ian Thomas that much money to not be good at football. I'd probably go B tier. I probably would have gone C tier before the Baker trade, though.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Okay.
All right. Can
The
we give
Bears.
an F to Chicago? Like,
Yeah,
what are you doing?
They
They're not
should
even
be
in
on.
rebuild. This is F.
Well, we have to put them somewhere, so we'll just
Ugh.
slap them down there.
Like, what if they done anything to help Justin Fields? Okay, they drafted Bayless Jones in the 3rd round. Really? I like Kyler. I love Kyler Gordon. I really like Brisker too. But why are you doubling up on corner or doubling up on defensive back when you have a terrible offensive line and your receiver core is Darnell Mooney and a bunch of generated players? Oh, I don't know. I think the Bears probably had the worst offseason, and it wasn't like an intentional like tank job like the Falcons. I don't know what the Bills or the Bears are trying to do. All right. Bengals.
I think like B, it's like they didn't do much, but they helped. They made their offensive line better. And that's
Offensive
where
line.
it's
Collins is good. The other, I think it's kind of overrated that they just made the moves. So they made moves. It's like, did they make good moves? Well, Collins is a good move. Then the other guys, it's like Kappa and Ted Karras. They're like mid. So like better than Jackson Carman, yes, but I don't think that's moving the needle a whole lot. So working towards Burrow extension, Chase, Higgins, whatnot. They did go out and they lost Uzoma. They brought in Hayden Hurst. I think that's a neutral move, if not a little bit down. Jesse Bates, chaos. Drafted Daxton Hill, good 1st round pick. I think it's fine. I think it's B tier. It's between B and a C.
I'd give them a B.
We'll go B.
All right.
The Browns, I feel like you would get a C or a D.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd give them a D.
Okay. On the bright side, they brought in good players in the draft.
And
They
Amari
did.
Cooper.
And Amari Cooper, and they got Deshaun Watson. The problem is Deshaun Watson's about to be suspended, and you traded 3 first-round picks for him, including your 13th overall pick.
And then the whole disaster with Baker. So
Yeah.
it's like,
But that's
I guess that's more of a Baker
value
issue
out
than
of
a
Baker.
Browns issue. I feel like maybe.
But I also blame the Browns for how they handled it.
Yes.
Yeah, they
They
didn't
could handle it
great.
so much better than they did. So for that reason, I give them a T.
All right. They did retain Clowney. They traded Troy Hill. D is fine. I didn't hate their draft. I thought it was fine. I'd be.
I mean, it's just like quarterback we know is the most important position, and they just messed.
So
Yeah, they
happy
did.
And
that
then
they
end up
let
Jacoby
Baker.
Brissett started.
I want to throw Dallas C or D tier. I think Dallas had some pretty big whiffs. Like you lose Randy Gregory, you lose Amari Cooper.
The way they lost Randy Gregory too, like it looked like he was about to sign with them, and then he pulls a 180 and goes to Denver. Like that was.
Yeah.
I
give them a
think
C.
they got worse. I think they got worse this offseason.
Yeah. I think we
Their
give them a
draft,
C.
like Sam Williams in the 2nd round. Why? Tyler Smith at the end of round 1, I get it, but I think it's a little early. So I didn't like their 1st round pick. I didn't
We'll
like
go
the
C.
2nd round pick. So that's a problem. And then you lose super talented players at key positions. Like, I don't know.
They could probably still play well though.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they're going to be fine. I just think they got worse. Every other team in the division had a better offseason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Denver.
Hey.
You put them in S tier because they got Russell Wilson.
Next team. Moving on. Yeah, no, the Russ signing was just like, or trade. I say signing, but trade. Like that was insane.
Yeah.
I'd give the Lions a B. I think they had a pretty solid offseason.
I kind of want to go A with the draft. I really like the draft.
I like
they
their
were the ones that
draft.
got Josh Pascal. They fleeced the Vikings to get Jameson Williams. They took the right guy at 2. They didn't, and then they made really savvy signings. So you go get a guy like Deshaun Elliott from Baltimore that was a free safety for Baltimore, but he's really a strong safety, playing free safety because Chuck Clark exists. So now he gets to play strong safety. You bring in a guy as well, also from Baltimore, and Chris Board, who is a longtime special teamer, like a Pro Bowl caliber special teamer. Now he gets to play a linebacker. And I think they just made like a bunch of small moves. The DJ Chark move is really savvy. I would probably go A tier. I'm between A and a B on Detroit.
I'd go A. Because I feel like too, like Detroit had no expectations last year, and they won a couple games,
Mm-hmm.
and now they look.
They fleeced Minnesota.
So A is closer than B.
Yeah.
Okay,
Alright, there we go.
Green Bay, I feel like gets a C. in my opinion.
Yeah,
Because like
losing Devontae Adams is tough.
Losing Devontae Adams obviously hurts, and then like they almost lost Aaron Rodgers too, and then there's like
not losing Aaron Rodgers, I think saves them from going.
Yeah,
I think C is good for them.
They had a weird draft too. They get Watson, but it's in the second round. They drafted Quay Walker 22nd. Like, why? I did like Devontae White at 28. That's fun. They got Jaron Reed from Kansas City. Green Bay is going to have the best defense in the NFL. Mark it down. I don't know. They screwed up the receiver situation, I think, but I think they've filled in. They brought back Rasul Douglas. They've made some smart moves at other places than wide receiver, so I'm cool with the C. But losing a top 10 player in the NFL is bad, no matter how you slice it.
True.
Texans
are a rebuild. I feel
S tier, just for that Deshaun Watson trade.
Oh yeah, agree. They like fleeced the Browns for a guy that's not going to play this year. They are. It's like an S rebuild, but there you go. Although I don't love what the firing McCulley didn't love that.
Oh, that's
that's kind of a scapegoat thing.
Okay, I'm cool with giving them an S tier because they swung that trade.
I mean, I think extending Brandon Cooks too is big, and I like the pick of Stingley.
I
it's
like
a very hit or miss pick. If he is healthy, he's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's one of those picks that if Stingley hits, he's the best cornerback in the NFL.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever wanted to see any kind of tier list where the Texans are an S tier team, here you go. This is it.
Like that Deshaun trade, though, like there's a good chance they have a top 10 pick. I think they'll have 2 top 10 picks, their own and the Browns.
Yeah, then at that point, if you aren't in a good spot for a quarterback, you can trade up and get a quarterback. Or this probably best case scenario for the Texans is, I can't think of a good year comparison, but like, say, I guess like the kind of like if the Jags stink this year or the Bears stink this year, but they win 6 or 7 games, and it's not Lawrence or Fields doing the stinking. If the best case for the Texans is that Davis Mills takes a step forward, but the Texans still have such a bad roster that they lose like 13 games, and they get a top 5 pick, then they don't have to spend on a quarterback. They can get a Will Anderson, they can get a Jackson Smith and Jigba, or they can get a Marcelo Meyer. I don't know if he's eligible this year, or they get a Brock Bowers. I don't know if he's eligible this year. They get a game changer at a different position other than quarterback, because as soon as you like start the quarterback again, like if they have to go Bryce Young or CJ Stroud or Jerkovich or whomever, then you're just restarting. You're redoing the rebuild. So best case scenario for Houston, I think, is they're bad, but Davis Mills isn't bad.
They could also get the chance to get like a CJ Stroud and get Jackson Smith or Will Anderson or Noah Sewell, one of those top prospects, and get that quarterback. That would be best case scenario for them.
That's true. Fair. So Houston S tier, Indianapolis.
I would give them an A.
I like Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I think that Matt Ryan move is very good.
Alec Pierce, I think that's a good pick. They traded Wentz. They got some value to Wentz. I think I'm comfortable giving them an A. I think they had a good draft. To Matt Ryan, they probably improved at quarterback. At the very least, it's a lateral move with Matt Ryan.
I think Matt Ryan's going to show he still has that pep in his step. I mean, being on the Falcons, it wasn't the most complete roster. You go to a great offensive line, great running back.
You have pieces in I feel like
Michael Pittman is shown last year. He can be a real weapon.
uSTADIUM legend Michael Pittman.
So
uSTADIUM legend Michael Pittman.
I think he'll have some improvement, and I think the expectation has to be at least the playoffs for the Colts, if not more.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that division should be theirs.
Hopefully, JT has another really good year too.
All right, staying in the division, we have Jacksonville. Staying pat with Lawrence, of course. Etienne's coming back. That's on a move this year. No Chark, but you draft. Did they at like 30? Who did they grab at 33? Why am I blanking on who they drafted at 33? Because like last year they drafted Tyson Campbell. This year they traded up and got Devin Lloyd. That's right.
Yeah, and Marvin Jones. I mean, we say they overpaid him, but Marvin Jones is a solid receiver.
And they got Christian Kirk.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Why I say Marvin Jones and Christian Kirk?
That's a lot of money for Christian Kirk, but I guess I see what they're going for. They still have Chenault. Offensive line could still use more improvement. They did bring in Brandon Scherf, former All-Pro. Foye Oluokun, cool. I mean, I think it's a fine offseason. I don't love Trayvon at number 1 overall. It's fine. It's a B or a C.
Yeah, I give it a B.
Fairness, a lot of that is because they had such great draft capital.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll go B. We'll be nice to the Jaguars. The
Kansas City,
Chiefs.
S tier.
C.
I know they traded Tyreek Hill,
Listen,
but I'd love the draft.
Trading Tyreek. Wow, jeez. I hate being congested. It screws with your voice so much. The Tyreek trade, obviously, it looks bad at first because it's like he's a top 10 player in the league, pretty much, or at least a top 10 receiver. But the draft haul they got back for it was so big. It's like I don't think it really hurts them that bad.
Okay,
And it's like,
I'll step back from S. A tier.
I think they spent the picks well they had this year, too, and that's the most important part. Like, we look at the trade.
and they can still like they'll still be fine. Like they wouldn't have made a trade if they weren't convinced they would
George
be okay.
Karlaftis,
Yeah.
McDuffie. A's. They were Baltimore got 3 S pluses for me because they made 3 of the top 10 picks in the draft. The Chiefs were had 2 S pluses and an A plus. So I think the Chiefs really killed the draft.
Sure.
So I'm cool with giving them an A. Chargers.
I'd give them an A.
Yeah, I love the Zion pick at 17.
Like Williams, too.
I would give them an A on their
JC
free
Jackson.
agency alone. I feel
Yeah.
like
Mac.
Khalil Mack, JC Jackson. I think the Khalil Mack signing is slightly overrated, but I love the
Agreed.
JC Jackson sign up.
I think
Mike
Maxwell has those
Stallions,
spurts, though, and he'll be very effective across from Joey Bosa.
Agree. Anything that you don't like? I don't think there's any reason not to like it.
No.
I might go S, maybe S tier because
The fact that it's the Chargers, I'm kidding.
they
They didn't fire Brennan Staley, or they didn't.
A free agency, A draft. I don't know. I'd probably go A tier.
We'll go A tier. I guess it's just like it looks good, but like
they did lose Kazir White. They did they brought in another linebacker though, so it was like a lateral move. They spent a 3rd rounder on. Okay, I'm tripping. Okay, Los Angeles Rams staying in the city. Von Miller
world
out.
champion Los Angeles Rams.
True. Bobby Wagner in. Darius Williams out. He's in Jacksonville.
Kyle Robinson in.
Yes.
I think they're going to re-sign Odell, too.
OBJ is to be determined.
I'd give them an
They
A.
lost Robert Woods.
I didn't love the draft. I didn't like Bruss at pick 3, 102 or something.
I think Bruss will be fine.
I
think they
Albon.
went a little nuts on the secondary though. They
Kobe Durant's going to be a darn good player, and Darian Kendrick has played huge games at both Georgia and Clemson.
yeah, I think they're going to be fine, but it's just they took so many people. Like the depth is going to be insane, but it's
Troy
like
Hill is back.
how much depth do you need at the same time?
I'd probably go B. I didn't love the draft, partially because they don't have the draft capital, but they made good signings everywhere else.
Yeah, they did.
at the
I
very
do. I
least,
do like.
same
I do B. I think
No
what stops
Whitworth.
me.
No
What?
Whitworth.
Yeah,
Whitworth
no
retired.
Whitworth, but like.
I'd probably go B.
Here's the thing that stops me from making it go a little bit higher. I hated the Robert Woods trade. I really hated the Robert Woods trade.
I love Allen Robinson. I think so.
I understand. I like Allen Robinson. I'm not pinning it on that. I just think that you got a 5th round pick for for Robert Woods, and Woods didn't even try to force the trade, as far as I know. So it's like
that was more of a cap thing than anything else.
it still sucks though. Like the return doesn't look great, but who knows? You could get another really good player out of that pick. So we'll find out next year. But I think I'm okay with B tier.
All right, Raiders. I think it's overrated.
Devontae Adams alone.
Devontae Adams is
Alone. That's S tier.
Okay. I'm gonna try to talk you guys down to A tier.
I'm not on an S tier yet. To be
They
fair,
traded Yannick Ngakoue and got Rock Ya-Sin. That's a net negative. Chandler Jones was an overpay. Chandler Jones, although it is the Khalil Mack argument that he's a solid number 2 rusher at this point. But he's not a good run defender. No one on the front can. Well, Crosby's fine, but the front's going to be really soft against the run. No Casey Hayward, he's gone. They re-signed Renfro. Still don't love the running back situation. Waller's still there. I don't know. Yes, the Adams pick is great, or the Adams trade is great, and yes, I even like their draft. I'd go A. I wouldn't go S.
See, I think like you can say Chandler Jones is overpaid, but no matter where he was, you're only getting him if you overpay him.
That's fair.
And that makes Ngakoue tradable.
Uh-huh.
So you might get a corner out of that too.
Is Chandler Jones like that good though? Like that he has to get overpaid?
He would have gone over. There's too many teams in the market that wanted him, so I think he was getting overpaid.
Good point.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the market.
All right.
Miami Dolphins.
I would just go D because they still have Tua, but they made some.
I did like the Tyreek trade for them.
No,
They bring in Connor Williams.
See, Armstead move. Quick thing. He's not blocking to his blind side though. So they gave him this big contract to basically play. He's playing left tackle, but to his lefty.
This is a good point.
So he's getting paid what?
Right tackle.
He's getting paid what like a right tackle is getting paid.
Right.
But instead he's getting paid as the top of the market left tackle.
Should we go B tier? Or are you thinking C? I feel like what's stopping me from C is the
sneaky thing. This probably won't move the needle for either of you, but I want to mention it. Zaquandre White, they picked him up, undrafted free agent, running back out of South Carolina. Mike McDaniel, he is doing this at the rest of the NFL. And they got Kellen Deesh from Arizona State.
They have Matt Breida and Chase Edmonds both are going to get injured.
Good point. So when Zaquandre White leads the NFL in rushing this year, I told you so.
I would give them a C. I think to me, it's like the Armstead thing. Like to me, make no sense. You're paying.
I just think what's stopping me from putting it at C is Tyreek, though. Tyreek can still be impactful. Like he's still.
I mean, you give them a B or C, and it's fine, man.
And they got Cedric Wilson. Okay, I'm gonna go B. They got Cedric Wilson.
I like Cedric Wilson.
That's true.
We'll go. Oh,
I think they made good moves. Minnesota. I think they really kind of screwed up the draft. The whole Jameson Williams trade, like that was a disaster. They got fleeced. Lewis Seen at 32, he's fine, but I wouldn't have taken him at 32. Let's see. Other than that, I don't think they've done a whole lot.
I give them a C.
B.
They kind of just existed. Yeah. I can't Michael Pierce is gone, I believe. He's in Baltimore.
I feel like C is fair because they just kind of were there. They just
kind of existed.
Yeah.
Didn't love the draft for once. All right, Patriots.
D. I think their big move was drafting. It was getting Devontae Parker.
Like what? And people are so hyped about the Patriots. Why? Like, I don't even hate the Cole Strange pick. I don't even hate the Tyquan Thornton pick. But everything else just felt like they were punting. They drafted a quarterback in the 4th round, and it wasn't Carson Strong.
Yeah.
Like, why are you spending a 4th-round pick on a quarterback?
And they lost Josh McDaniels and instead put Matt Patricia in his place.
Oh.
Vey.
To me, that's a D.
Yeah, I agree with you. They probably had the worst offseason. They had the worst offseason of a team that was supposed to be something. Yeah. The Bears, I don't want to give them a pass, but they weren't expected to do jack squat. Oh boy, those tight end.
Our expectations were low, and yeah.
Oh, no, J.C. Jackson's gone. Oh, yeah, I agree with you. New Orleans, Jameis is back. We are awaiting the Kamara suspension. Thomas is back. They signed Jarvis Landry. They sign
Honey Badger.
Yes.
I like the Honey Badger pickup.
Marcus Williams gone. Malcolm Jenkins gone, but now it's Marcus May and Honey Badger.
I give them a B. I think they're like an average offseason.
They brought in Chris Olave as well.
True. I think B's fair.
Overpaid a little bit for Olave, but then again, all the receivers were coming off the board. So
yeah, whatever. True. They kind of like needed to get their guy quick. So I think B is fair for the Saints.
Yeah, I think B is fine.
And at least with Kamara, you're not getting you're not risking a potential like full suspension. Like Deshaun, like he's only going to miss.
Penning at left tackle is going to be interesting. But okay, New York Giants.
I like their moves. I just wish they addressed quarterback.
James Bradbury was a cap casualty because they could not sign the draft class.
I love their draft class though.
I do too, but
Yeah.
they couldn't sign all of their drafted players because they had so many bad contracts. Granted, that's not this year's problem. That's Dave Gettleman's problem.
Yeah.
So I think Joe Shane's done a lot of great things. I might go A here. The only thing keeping me from S is you still had to cut Bradbury.
Yeah.
You couldn't work.
I
out.
don't know if you saw the L I threw up. That's for letting go of Bradbury. That was terrible.
They made all these moves though, and like you look at like who's your quarterback, and still Daniel Jones, and I just don't know how many games you can win with him.
Fair, but don't they have 2 seconds or 2 firsts next year? Or is it just was it just this year that they?
It was
I
just-
don't know why. Part of me really wants Daniel Jones to just have a breakout year and go crazy. Like,
Oh, it'd be so funny, but like
that would be funny as hell.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just likely Sam
some
Darnold
moments
has a breakout year.
he had some moments last year. I'm just gonna say
He's had more
unreal
moments.
against the
He
Saints.
did earn the nickname Danny Dimes for a reason. He's had
Yeah.
more moments than Darnold has. So.
No, I don't know about that. I think Darnold's had more moments.
I don't think Sam Darnold does not win the game at New Orleans. He does not throw for 400
You have
yards.
that Cowboys game a couple years ago with Darnold.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
okay,
true.
fair
Okay,
play,
he's
fair
had one.
play,
He's
fair
had
play,
A
fair play,
moments.
fair
That's
play.
Daniel Jones too, I think.
All right. Jet.
Okay. New York
The
Jets.
Jets A. That's an A, if not S.
Okay. Laken Tomlinson, great. Garrett Wilson,
Udama,
great.
Conklin.
Jermaine Johnson, great.
I love a lot of their additions.
Conklin's gonna be an underrated move.
Uh-huh.
I think Jeremy Ruckert's gonna be an underrated move too.
Didn't love Brees Hall at 2 or in the second round, but whatever. It's a running back. He's going to fit. It's going to work.
Look at the second round running backs.
Look at their free
Henry
agents.
got drafted in the second
honestly.
round.
Jonathan Taylor, J.K. Dobbins, the actual best running back in the AFC North.
And I think it's like you need the whole thing with Darnold was you didn't get him that help. And it's like you made in the offseason, you got Jordan Whitehead, you got DJ Reed, you made those in your secondary. Lawson's coming back. You drafted Sauce Gardner, you drafted Michael Clemens, Jermaine Johnson. You might as well help your quarterback out. And if it takes drafting a running back a little high,
Okay, that's fair.
then that's fine.
They
Because
might go S tier, honestly. Just
Yeah.
so many moves. They got a lot better. I don't know if they have made the jump from bottom 4 teams into that Pittsburgh, Miami.
I mean, we're gonna find out.
Vegas,
I think it just matters how Zach Wilson plays.
Yeah,
I think
they
we'll
might-
go
they're,
A.
they're probably like in their own island of the 13th best, 14th best team in the AFC.
I'll probably put them in the A tier.
13th. Wait a minute. Yeah, 14th best because they're definitely better than Houston. They're definitely better than Jacksonville, but I don't think they're quite as good as.
I think they'll be better than the Patriots. I think they'll be better than Miami.
Oh,
Whoa! Okay, they are not going to be better than the Dolphins. I will tell
They're
you.
not
that.
gonna be better
Maybe
than-
the
I
Patriots.
just have no faith in Tua. I think Tua is going
I
to
think
lose
Tua's
so
fine.
many games.
I think Tua is better than Brissett, and Brissett was awful last year. But
You're going to make me pull up the video of Tua he's playing Tennessee and the ball just slips out of his hand.
okay, well, I can show you a clip of Tom Brady throwing a pick 6 to Logan Ryan. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, but like Tua does it. This is what happens. The Dolphins are always in it. It happened 2 years in a row, and then Tua loses an important game in 4 passion. He throws like 4 picks versus the Bills last year. Had like 2 fumbles and 2 picks versus the Titans this year. He just can't win those big games.
But they wouldn't have had to win those games if they had Tua to play the Raiders.
But they also, I just don't think Tua is that guy.
Tua won the Ravens game.
Yeah, but wasn't
Okay.
that
We got to move on. We're going to go on for 3 hours probably.
Eagles. I think the Eagles belong in ye old S tier.
Yeah, AJ Brown.
AJ Brown.
AJ
love.
Brown.
I remember we looked at their roster too, and then we were
Yeah,
like,
I love
holy
the
crap,
roster.
this
Jordan
team
Davis,
actually looks really
13.
good.
Hassan Reddick was a steal of a signing.
That was.
I
Such
think
a
he's
steal.
overrated, but I think he's a good player. Jordan Davis,
They'll
important.
do what they want.
James Bradbury, too. People forget he just went to the Eagles. That's a great move. Cam Jurgens, who is like the actual Jason Kelsey heir. Landon Dickerson was just trolling the NFL. Also, Jordan Mailata is eternally underrated. I think it's great. Eagles had a stellar offseason. All right, Pittsburgh. Ben's gone. You sign Mitch Trubisky. You draft Kenny Pickett with the 20th pick. You draft George Pickens. Juju's in Kansas City. James Washington is in Dallas. Offensive line, you add in James Daniels from
The Bears.
Chicago. Defensive line, Tua retires. Linebackers, Devin Bush still kicking. You also bring in Miles Jack, who was awful last season. Don't mince words. Joe Hayden is a free agent right now. They bring in Levi Wallace. Killer Witherspoon is back in town. They gave a bag to Minkah Fitzpatrick. They also got Calvin Austin in the 4th round. What are we thinking of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I would give them a B. The whole Deontay Johnson thing, too, looks like it's going to drag out. So I'm a little worried about that. But I think they made some solid moves, and I think I like Kenny Pickett. I don't know if he's going to play this year, but I think...
Wait. Since when is Joey Bart back in the majors? What? I just got a notification that he's not starting in my fantasy line. Well, obviously he's not starting in my fantasy line. Why is he start? Why did the Giants bring him up? When did they? What? Wait a minute. When did this happen? Okay, Pittsburgh. I'm
solve this conundrum later. Where are we putting Pittsburgh?
B.
I think B.
B. Okay, we'll go B tier for.
Why is he back in the majors? Darn it! I can't put him in my roster. Okay. Seattle.
Seattle's D tier.
Yeah, Seattle. I would just say they're in rebuild tier. They got like a solid enough haul from Russ, but
losing Russ is
losing Russ is a negative.
I think San Fran would be a C.
Yeah, they haven't you would have thought
the
all the
Debo
talk
deal is stupid.
The Debo thing is stupid. All the talk when when
Alex
the season
Mack retired
ended.
as well. I really don't like their interior offensive line. I think the tackles are fine. Obviously, Trent Williams is tackle 1. McGlinchey is a good run blocking right tackle. But what are you doing between? Tomlinson's gone, Mack is gone. It could be a disaster zone. In that
all
interior.
The talk when the season ended was Jimmy Garoppolo probably just played his last game in his San Francisco uniform. He's still there.
Yeah.
What?
They lost some.
Figure it out.
Secondary.
I'm honestly inclined to go D tier.
I'm going to go C tier. I think it's a C tier.
I think C.
Okay, Tennessee. I know both of you are inclined to put them in D tier, but I think they've recouped assets from the A.J. Brown trade and from Julio Jones. I think.
Why are we forgetting Tampa Bay?
Oh, okay. Because I was looking at the way my microphone was cutting off the screen. I could. Okay, Tampa.
Tampa got Tom Brady. They come back out tonight.
Okay, yeah.
But they lose Gronk, but Gronk might come back in a month according to his agent. So
yeah.
Good point. They did lose Jordan Whitehead, but they got Carlton Davis back. JPP's gone. They bring in Akeem Hicks from Chicago.
Remember where JPP went?
I think he's a free agent still.
Yeah, he's still a free agent. So is
that would be a good pickup for somebody.
Yeah, so is Sue.
Least...
Godwin is back. Evans is back. Antonio Brown doesn't technically count here. Kate Otten was an unreal 4th round pick. I think Tampa. I think they get an A.
That's a decent offseason. I'd go A.
Yeah, you bring back Brady.
Brady come out of retirement too.
Yeah. If Brady's gone, they're probably a C or a D. But then again, they would have made fundamentally different moves. Although, well, I guess you get the retirement for friggin' Ali Marpet, but you bring in Shaq Mason for a.
They lose their coach too.
Can we put the Patriots down another level? They just gave away Shaq Mason. They gave away Joe Thuney last offseason. Bill Belichick, do you have a brain? Tennessee.
C.
I know both of you probably don't like the A.J. Brown trade and probably don't like them losing Julio, but let me get on my Titans soapbox here. Okay, first off, Malik Willis, quarterback, unreal pick. I don't care if you like Willis or hate Willis. 3rd round pick, incredible value. Wide receiver, they drafted a 1st round caliber player in Treylon Burks. They drafted a 3rd round caliber player in Kyle Phillips, who went in the 5th or 6th round. Great slot. You have 2 starting receivers right there. You bring in Robert Woods for a 5th round pick. That is 3 starting receivers. Last year you had 1.5 because Julio Jones couldn't stay on the field. Tight ends. Yes, you lose both of your top 2 tight ends from last season. You lose Michael Pruitt. I don't remember where he went, and you lose Anthony Forster. I don't remember where he went. But you bring in Austin Hooper, who kind of fits both of them, what both of them do for the Titans offense. So you get an actual go-to tight end instead of having to rely on 2 tight ends. Yes, they lose Roger Saffold, but you have Nate Davis anyways, and you have a elevating Dylan Radun, so that was it kind of had to happen, and they had to pay Ben Jones, their center, Taylor Lewan, whatever, we can get to him later. Defensively, Harold Landry was the important piece. He is back in town. Rashaan Evans gone, and the defensive backfield you didn't have to make many moves there. Kevin Byard is back. Christian Fulton is back. Caleb Farley is back off an ACL. I would say a B tier. I liked their draft more than I thought they would, even though they traded AJ Brown. So I would go B tier.
You got me up to a B. I'll go B.
I'll go B. Okay, lastly, this is an outdated logo, but regardless, the Washington Commanders.
Ooh. I'll give them a B.
Wentz. They did also grab Sam Howell, who doesn't eat anything but chicken. So congratulations. I didn't love Dotson at 16. They lost Scherf. They might trade Daron Payne.
I would go C tier, honestly.
I'm between a B and a C. I wouldn't be opposed to putting them in C tier.
I'm just really personally really low on Carson Wentz too. Like I don't
like Wentz is better than Heineke.
That's true. I think Wentz is better than the alternative. B is fine.
That's
B's
fair. Fine. Okay, I'll go B. You guys convince me. I'll go B.
All right, there we have it. Those are our NFL offseason tier lists. Broncos, Texans, Eagles with S tier. Are the Broncos, of course, with the Russell Wilson trade. Texans with the Deshaun Watson trade. And the Eagles with the A.J. Brown trade, among other moves. The worst, we had the Bears with just being the Bears. The Browns with the Deshaun Watson trade. The Patriots being the Patriots. And Seattle with the Russell Wilson trade. Drop in the comments if you think these were a good list, bad list. Who should be rank higher? Do you think Baltimore should be in S tier? Do you think the Chiefs should be in S tier? Chargers? Do you think the Chiefs should be lower? Packers should be lower because they traded these superstar receivers. Dolphins a little bit higher. Raiders a little bit higher because they acquired those superstar receivers. So with that said, thank you guys for watching the wonderful tier this of the NFL offseason. So we are approaching the 2.5 hour mark. Any final words from either of you before we wrap it up?
I'm just saying, Katie, join the take on the app. Katie's not getting traded.
Okay. Also, I'm on a bit of streak here. I don't know if either of you play the streak on ESPN. 6 in a row, right?
Not bad.
Yeah. Today I picked the Oklahoma City Thunder in Summer League. Did I tell you that I bet on the WNBA the other day?
You told me that, yeah.
It didn't work out well. I lost.
I gotta stop gambling.
Yeah. Also, shout out Marcelo Zuna, revenge home run against the Cardinals. Eddie Rosario, his first home run of the season. So exciting times. Also, Kyle Schwarber. Whoa, Kyle Schwarber had another home run. He has 27 now.
2 away from Judge.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, that was not something I was expecting to see, but there you go. Kyle Schwarber is the hottest hitter on the planet. He's probably going to be an all-star. Congratulations. Is he going to be the Phillies' only all-star? I mean, Harper, technically, but Harper, Schwarber, is that it?
Yeah.
Because Real Muto hasn't been that good.
Debating the MLB All-Star game is going to be fun.
Yeah, that's just true. At least until Frankie tells us, your video is too long.
All right.
All right. Speaking of too long, we have gone at this for 2 hours and 28 minutes. Thank you guys for watching. If you have joined in with all of our shows, that means you have watched over 4 days of Sports Desk content. That doesn't even include our watch parties for NFL playoff games. That doesn't include the 24-hour live stream. That doesn't include the most of the Hurricane Relief Fund or the Hurricane Relief stream. That doesn't include the Russell Wilson trade video or the Tom Brady got retired and then
the OBJ signing video.
The OBJ, that one went nuts. So thank you guys for sticking with us. 4 full days of content, over 4.5 full days of content, 110 hours. This will be 112, 111, 112, and eventually into 113. So with that said, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring a ding ding, that Le'Veon bell, that notification bell, so you can be notified whenever we go live, whenever we post normal videos. And sometimes when we post shorts, I don't know, like YouTube's really inconsistent with that. I wish they were better with it. I don't want to get notified for every short, but it's weird when I get notified for some shorts. I don't know.
I don't question it. At the end of the day, don't question the YouTube algorithm. Just yell at it.
Yeah. This is a good point. Ring the bell, like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Twitch, follow us on Instagram, follow Josh's page, the MLB Twitter. Is it uSTADIUM at uSTADIUM MLB on both Twitter and Instagram?
Yeah, I believe so.
All right, Jack, follow the F1 page. Is it just uSTADIUM F1?
Correct.
Okay. NHL page, uSTADIUM NHL?
Correct.
You can follow the uStadium Bets page, uStadium Bets, uStadium Fantasy, uStadium NBA, uStadium, is it uStadium Soccer?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Follow the affiliate uStadium pages. We're going to be posting banger content there. Help grow the page. Help our beloved rookies, interns out. And with that said, thank you guys for watching. And remember, folks,
Super Bowl champion Aaron Donald trains with knives.
We'll see you next Thursday or next Wednesday.